on issue where your mind Ghana. You say everybody I said Kwadwo Safo Kantanka ni watching sensem. Yeah, sabi ameka say chese honorable Adwoa Safo and afi Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena. Omo sensem na ye bebre. Nenra in my wosem we see ye beto dwase mpo honorable Sarah Adwoa Safo nipa bi allegedly so nipa bi atutu amebi akano. Ama sa abre kwa no diary sabia or diary sa ne ade sensem no ekoye bebre na busu Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka na busuafo ankasa and the krata ba montin krata file do be some yes 3-page letter and as a 3-page press release and Apostle yes wani then so catching some bebre and as abia no ka say the Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka na busuafo the royal family na the busuan they busuan of free no o ma ba montin abeka pra okopra no ano wo mo akasa dia fa ho and ebi nso efa Mr. Emeka Madaroma ebi fa no about just for pra okopra no ebi nso fa the purported installation of a year of finance ye nua ba ma Akofena as the leader of Kristo Asafo movement no ma church nsemu de ntia omuje enora installation of your brother Akofena tum se won ye Kristo Asafo obeda o ma no ye panipa enyeyi o ma church nsem bebre ama date how do one some how do I see senior ade nyina ntia ye beto ye bo asen ewa ye be se 3 pages na mesro empanifo mo na mo ka mo asem se unya abotre na udwa abo atete a unya ne nso na so hu na koma me ne nso ne ade nyina ntia behwem ne atie nsem mo ka ebusuafo na kasa pa ya omu nyina obro ne be kasa yi na edoson but nyina che se omu de omu ji ono abo Adwoa Safo atum prekope se ono abo Adwoa Safo a ono ena eye busuanity na so ono eye busuapeni yes ena fe eye Akofena ya omu de se akunya so abetu so omu de se akunya so se ono eye leader of Kristo Asafo movement no omu ebusuafo che se omu yintum na eni na so bia e ho no nti we yewrem without wasting much time so the be ya busua enkoye se kobna wusumi na mebo misiem ama fofon so enya bi ahwe so as we can see the letterhead no the Apostle Kwadwo Safo family na say tria mo bia hu say Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka na this busua wo frame no and yeah na on so date na on 22nd June 2026 na say net the year in Kensu be say don reba akoko mienu echi na kratai aba abonten ya o che say for immediate release na say animoni mu ya yema wiase nyina hu na yen kama wiase nyina ante ensem a wo mu nyina ye ensem a eye oboni beka say it is the position of the family, it is the position of apostle ya papa o nyame de na busua ya emay afrimu aba e no mo kasa nsem nyina e de echre amansan so yen to aso atifi asem say Adwoa Safo responding positively to medical treatment na say omudi kan chema mo bi ati ase say sa bia no kasa MP maybe you know machine be dey ma this year ye wo dom kwa benya about on person so nyame adom or responding to treatment positively enti enro to ya e kasa no ma check up post for be kire mu say ebi kan na so bonkum yi na ebi kan ne kon and after the chest no ni nyina nyame adom despite the see na no MP and as a former MP na ho ye yeah bibia positive or responding to treatment na say bibia cause doctor for exam so ayo ma famu de yeah ahoden eba ti yenwem na fa yentie ensem wan kasa Mr. Emeka Asafo no na say we nya Asafo mo fa nche we apostle busuafo wo mo aba no mo kan de akire amansa nyina to say the family of the late Apostle Emeritus Professor Engineer over the unfortunate shooting incident involving Honorable Sarah Adwoa Safo, the duly recognized head of Kwadwo Safo of the Kwadwo Safo family. You say, "One more busuafo ina akobemkom." Yeah, omudi kan aka say, "Omudi ya kakra." Na ya omudi ina ne say, "Arawusem we nra esi ye no." Eno munti na ma busuafo ina akobemkom omudi ya. Esan say, "Sa de esi ya enra ebeto odwa say, enipa bi edimra hye mu nsem enipa bi atututuo ama etuo no kwa bi akoka ye maame mrashi bedwani dada Honorable Adwoa Safo no omo busuafo no mjitu wenye yi omo di ho ya they regret deeply omo regret pa say sa adie bi sa esi we your family no where your family na de character about want GH attractive wadaroma na yet also be more say involving Honorable Adwoa Safo, the duly recognized head of the Kwadwo Safo family. Next, ebusuan from there. Omo chire mu say Honorable Adwoa Safo MP, former MP, on na ye ebusuan panyi, on ye the duly recognized head of the Kwadwo Safo family. Next, eba Apostle Kwadwo Safo, na se Kwadwo Safo ebusuan no dia. Omo nyina ye ebusuan for na Apostle ebusuan for jitu mpreko pese. Aye former MP, on na mom na ye ebusuan panyi na ebusuanfo ni nyina ejinitu na omba be chirechire mu wanti ebusuan nya botre omba be chirechire mu die ntia ebusuanfo no apostle ebusuanfo e kase MP and as a former MP na ye ebusuapani ya omjinitu o ye duly recognized in line with customs and traditions na ade nyina na fe bibia ye boko nti ye to aso say the family wishes to assure members of the Kristo Asafo Mission, relatives, friends, sympathizers and the general public that Honorable Adwoa Safo is currently in a stable condition and responding positively to medical treatment. Enti ebusuanfo say, yanka mo obi anti say sabli, yan maame former MP, nyame adom ne ho ye. Na yan no kwa or responded positively to treatment. Ya doctor for ya ehwe no, wo mo a ejana so na obi ya na fam de say be ya maame benya ahode no, nyame adom or responding ye ya oye ne bia ne achi, se bibia na kwam say de say na efata and as always was also a stable condition ti and na ye na life na bebre na see kwam na emu ye de na esi ne ade nyame adom bibia ye okay ya our stable condition ti omo ka e de akere Kristo Asafo manyina afenye omo nko a ebusuafo nyina afenye omo nko a namfo chese ayonko ya omo ti asem wasi ye omo ya and afen ye ne aka ye sympathizers of the family say obi biara ote arosem na esi enra na odi ya no Adwoa Safo on 22nd of June 2026. He's a honorable and as a former MP. She's in a stable condition. Bibia Nana Kwadwo said they are responded positively to medical treatment. Said they are okay. Now yeah, to also be one. Okay, Nana Bonsu, me a media person. I'm just reporting the news. Say, I'm the character about Bonti. Also, I'm the kind of what I want to know about why. And no, I say Kristo Asafo character about Bonti. Me become a BRTV. As a media person, my job is to relay the news to ye will be biara waka. But nyame na me be chese bia the what you say wada Roma nana into we dey abote. After to also be more say the family further wishes to assure all Ghanaians and stakeholders that with the exception of Mr. Israel Nana Kwadwo Safo, also known as Akofena, all the children of the late Apostle Kwadwo Safo remain united and committed to ensuring a dignified and befitting omo kam obiate eye asafoma afei ayonko friends afei sympathizers well wishers no obi biara omo kam na ebusuafo na omo kam obiate se eye na afei nyi omo nko a obi biara nso wo chefa ewo ye papa Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka na brabo bobo ye stakeholders na say apart from Israel Nana Kwadwo Safo ya do na friends Akofena ye no ebeto dwa say Asafo no de yes edness ye kunwa so say on be the new leader of the Kristo Asafo Mission. Ebusuafo say apart from ono Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena emana aka na Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka emana aka wachi no omo nyina baako omo nyina ye united na so omo nyina ye kro ye omo nyina akọ benkom na benkom akọ nyina say omo wi ata so say kwan bia so omo behwe say eyiye ya esene fata enyem na make ebusuafo na eka eyiye ya ese fata eyiye ya edimu na ese fata the status the pedigree the caliber of Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka enombe tina se obuchemu a ya brother na se ene ya rofa menka na Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena ye no ebeto ya Asafo na nasi akunya se panyin no busuafo ne chese on de one enuanu ma aka na nya adwene said the omuka temu on the only nuanu aka nya adwene but apart from ono de Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka ma no aka nyina omu nyina ekobemkro omu nyina ya adwene se say omutumi eye abremponye a dignified and befitting burial and also omoye e ma Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka say kind bible cross say sabios obi wo na yansie ni ya na say sabio opon bampo e ho wonfaso e de chen no enti omo de ebusuafo say omo kan obi ate say e man ni na Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka man ni na obi are united towards a befitting burial say e be ye a edim abremponye e de ma Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka na so omo de omo ni say eye Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena ono nko ena oni nianu aka enko benkum sa nyame na meka ebusuafo ne kratom bia ba bonten ena meka de chairman san tie nto aswe as to how omokasa na bi ombetrim wachira afia to so bi mo say clarification on the succession of Apostle Kwadwo Safo. On say one of the arguments as one say one of the arguments Abba yedi go be say oh papa Apostle Kwadwo Safo kan tanga kwa born ba ye wofa Akofena din say oh oni won bra mehwe akire na na bushafo say eno no obo be kire nsem wan so be clarify succession to the late Apostle Kwadwo Safo kan tanga yentie clarification on the succession of Apostle Kwadwo Safo. There's one between nsem ya me atia say Apostle Kwadwo Safo deals with na ade ni na nchemu no e wa say what say the kind the family has observed with concern the circulation of conflicting narratives regarding the successional arrangements of the late ebusuafo nyina atnase e no maye di no say there be ensem ni nam tenten fidie so then somebody nam tenten fidie so e ko ban nyina no nchiremu bi a ase esi pai enye enko bemkrom ase anchiremu no we ka say na we ka say ya omu se wo so mutimi kasa de fa ho na nchiremu nyina ya ebusuafo ko bemkrom a omu be kasa de fa ho nyina efa the succession and I say Apostle Kwadwo Safo ne wa nyame de the replacement the oba bedi na de the oba be succeed no and no ma be chemu de chairman sign na yentie nchemu amode be ni na ye succession arrangement the late Apostle Kwadwo Safo the founder and leader Adwoa Kristo Asafo Mission no the odi na de and the yes odi the bia oni kwan se odi ni ade ni na ma chechemu ase ya ibedi na wonkomo na se to aso a o say the yerum na for yahwe the omuchema nkasa wa ha o say in addition to the update above, this statement also seeks to set the record straight on the successional arrangement as outlined by Professor Emeritus Apostle Kwadwo Safo prior to his demise. In that sense, it will be ato nchen a saa nchiremu we a omode aba na omuchemu dia chairman saying ni na ye nchiremu a efa so mbechire nsemu ya mama santi ase na afei ensagiwen bia kra achia argument bia kra na ensheda enkoye mama santi ase ye no narrative bia wa bonte a enye sa na tie no ombe set records this straight yemusia omoso ombe set records this straight with respect to successional arrangement Apostle Kwadwo Safo no aye ansa na ho nyame de next omuchiremu a ansa na Apostle Kwadwo Safo be nyame de an oye ono an successional arrangement so ebia etlachi bi mini ho a asumasi ana obenti na emedi ma de dachi bi mini ho a se ana dini na number betirimu ama Ghana man any wiase na atiase enti we successional arrangement oye ansa na obe nyame de na yentie o say in 2017 Apostle Emeritus Kwadwo Safo designated his son Mr. Israel Nana Kwadwo Safo, also known as Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena, as his successor and entrusted him with the leadership of the church and oversight responsibility for the various business entities established. In 2017, Apostle Emeritus Kwadwo Safo designated his son, Mr. Israel Nana Kwadwo Safo, also known as Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena, as his successor and entrusted him with the leadership of the church and oversight responsibility for the various business entities established by the founder. Enti ebusuafo ne say e wa fimpi mienu ene edunson 2017 mo and Apostle Emeritus Kwadwo Safo Kantanka nyame for the currency of blessed memory etu ono aneba and as ono eyi ono aneba Israel na Kwadwo Safo ya sa friend say na Kwadwo Safo Akofena say ono na eni na ade o me the successor and afei ode bibia ye fa asafo no e share ne nsa let's say ode asafo no leadership say asafo no ena anu die se obeda asafo na no etu anama hwese bia be boko no odi nyina e share eye Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena ensa enye no nko a odi asafo no leadership share ne nsa wie no o ye se won ebedina de atu anama hwese bia be boko ena afei osan so ede eye ni nyuma Adwoa Kena or the oversight responsibility for the various business entities established by the father. Ni na so ehye ne nsa se be ya Nyankopon ya adom a ne ban oniwa ne ba Israel na Kwadwo Safo Akofena ebetu na mahwe so betu anamo na bibia aya so die but here or to so be say however there's a bibia ho after say Apostle Kwadwo Safo ede jumadi na share ne ban inside in the year 2017 I'm sure or say, however, and I say BBC and I say BBC for the okay. Or say, however, during his tenure, the family observed a significant decline in the fortunes of several businesses within the Kristo Asafo conglomerate, leading to the collapse. So I'm saying, every Papa Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka, I think Pimiano, any doing so 2017. Or they a Numa, any Asafono, and now the Asian the bar, Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena, Israel na Kwadwo Safo Akofena. Then what he or sign so a day. And what was Sunday, Numa who do be sharing inside Numa Adwoa Ninaka, the Kristo Asafo business conglomerate no or didn't share a balance. And I think almost say, I wish I found a count Yamana make come down. Almost say, everyone shares almost I think Bassa say Numano, anyone will be all cry, a good collapse. A bit of I say, we cry, now say, I had just near collapse of a number of those enterprises. Now say enterprises I would do Apostle Emeritus Apostle Professor Emeritus Kwadwo Safo Kantanka. And they share neba Israel Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena. A chombo who said, and you money be or egu egu ebi so wa egu na say near collapse. And don't see obutu anamo from yanko the next slide. Abusi amon fanche mother ma yanko the next slide na yenti the afi omo kan the Alpha and 7. Okay, so this is the next slide. Yeah, to us, I'll say. Furthermore, several foundational principles in the first of all, audition inside in 2017. And the trouble was a new money be good. After as a one can answer, what was a new money be under the Kristo Asafo conglomerate, no, the Bruna egu, a being so good into the end to us. Yeah, to us, I'll say. How much you must have phone, I can say you. Furthermore, several foundational principles of the church were altered during this period. Until almost I said, Sabrina Muno, Omina, the Omani to form share who say, a year Asafo, yeah, Kristo Asafo Mission, one more fapim, foundational principles, Omina saw, yeah, Intima Asafono, Ajidin, na Tumpona Asafono, Abaya, one of the leading churches in Ghana, na Chidi Party Ben Kristo, near the Bremu, Sabi, Nam Yamin Namasafisu, Sally Pabi Breshabeno. Omo who said, Asafo never people ni bebre owa na ase ensakra ebem ensisa ebem ase wo mo sakra omo ota said the asafo no efa pim nyina so no bi esiti foundational. Furthermore, several foundational principles of the church were altered during the period necessary na mo no na be omo hu said there be omo djubadi na hye Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena ensa afi omo se nyuwa ni bi kofom nyuwa ni bi gu ni ade afi omo se hu se abusuafo na eka omo se hu se sabre na mo no foundational principles of the church no be no ha na abe altered as na sesa any ade na yento aswe. I'll say while Mr. Israel Safo is increasingly exercise authority without due regard for the founder and leader of the mission. So I'm say sabre na mo so no 2017 ban na omo count. Sabre no na yeah brother na say yeah ofa me kwa say me ofa Mr. Israel Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena eda asafana no. Omo hu say afei ono a ejina de tumi so etu anamon bebre he increasingly exercise authority. Na bi oja na ne tumi so tu anamon bebre na mo otu bebre o ha. One two otu ina na one tie anhwe amfa edidie ama ye papa Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka won na eye kofare bai e dey ma asafo no no na leader e dey ma mission abusu am so what as na see ya abusu afo se mo kan nti odi asafo nation en sabi no eno mani bi am che se esi no after 2017 odi asafo nation en sa na e bi ne se sa abre no omo za asafo na fa pini ni na so no bebre wa na aye altered na se na ensakra ebem esesa eno ye baako eno ne koda nchen a afi omo nyina hu se there be sabre na mu no while Mr. Israel Safo increasingly exercise authority without due regard for the founder and leader of the mission. This Abraham, who said, "Yeah, brother, Mr. Israel Safo Akofena. Now go to an amobia, say beya about to sorry, no near man be boko. Nemo, everyone now all just the 2 is to an amon. One fa recognition, and I say, one who say bia. I saw no coffee by yeah, Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka or Intinesa, Abusuafo chesa na mo to bia no to bia no. Now it was he did all those steps and all those processes without regard to Apostle Kwadwo Safo ye kofar ba because abre no na wonye nyame dia na Apostle Kwadwo Safo ti ase tempo se odi asafo na buja fon che se odi asafo na hye onsampo na betu na mom bia e wo se de obeye bia no sometimes I say what say in consultation with the founder and leader of the church but the one allege say there be any and I say brother yi ana mo ntobi otu ye no o ye wa bra when tie die and I say one fa ni die ni buo se bi onyam na meka ama founder of the church in this case Apostle Professor Emeritus Kwadwo Safo Kantanka yon leader of the church and to us was say these developments caused considerable concern to Apostle Kwadwo Safo. Necessary may course. Emma ne ko ha dwen pa. Sani may course. Emma ensem ko high. Emma higher crama. Ebi kra ko ha. Emma ya papa Apostle Kwadwo Safo. Na odi outside. I didn't know what's basa. Until these developments no cause so considerable concern. Ti ma for be say there be ade na aba ni say. Ade na akosi say. Ade na sesi leader oba wo papa bo di Asafo hye on sase ebusuafo yi Kenya na America na ye di Asafo hye on say na no to bia otu bia udina otumi so to na mo no unti o papa cross man say on consult papa on to na mo without recognition to your late father enti e ma ne be ha Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka said the omo e kan enti ento aso e omo kire say consequently in 2024 enti nam so am afim mienu ene aduonu nan ye ntie. Consequently, in 2024, he took steps to revoke the immediate. Okay, consequently, in 2024, he took steps to revoke the mandate previously granted to Mr. Israel Safo. You know, so much I said. And he. Afim pimienu ene edionu enaimu. Ena Apostle Professor Emeritus Kwadwo Safo Kantanka of blessed memory. Yes, in the year 2024, I think you need to know. Say, Obetu na mo na mo be no obetu. Ana mo otu na ya na mo otu se de be ya. Saa di bre na wo no ade man ba eye Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena no. Obegye saa di bre na free nsem. Na say o revoke na appointment. And I say o revoke some Mondays now dia man. Enti abusuafo family of Apostle Kwadwo Safo de Kati aba wonti o mo say in the year 2024, 7 years after say Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka ebo your brother Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena din ya obefa obetiki over na otu na mo bia in the year 2024 7 years after enam ne ma course wa bobo so wa matwe wa kata wa bobo so itino e Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka o science sa na dwen ema dibira nyame na meka ema dibira na odiama ne ba Israel Kwadwo Safo Kantanka o science dibira na efrinsem. So consequently in 2024 he took steps to revoke the mandate previously granted to Mr. Israel Safo. The also be one say the relevant provisions conferring that authority were subsequently removed from the church governing framework. And to him said, Sabrano, a year asafo bia na se ko bia kwa men ka asafo ko bia won mara kunyini ya ode boko no brasa le be ya and mo to be to bia no bo be ka se be in line with our laws, be in line with the constitution of that body, so ahinians will be in line with the customs and traditions of that particular group of people, and that particular traditional area. So what you say, and now say bia na papa ye tintin wo bramutin omo say nam say in the year 2024 Apostle Kwadwo Safo say the blood dear man e ba no wasa jefu ni nsam no oto aso ema bia relevant provisions bia na wo de egu akwam ya na ama authority or dear man e ba oyini na di free one said the relevant provisions conferring that authority were subsequently removed from the church governing framework to kwa asafo no emra de bo asafo no ba ya say any tintin na wo mo chese me de me asafo no emra ne ade ba mo chese o mo sai Apostle Kwadwo Safo mo yi free to me na de man ba so mo yi free asafo no emra queen ni mo hwe na wo emra queen no asafo no bi aka do ma me aka me beje pa o hwe me videos na sia ya na me numbers ho no the any life no call videos so abu ye number ho no Mr. wa na we na de bia send me say yesu ade mother wa na bia ye bokonye ne born so be that say afa ye to so bi mu a enti after say afi oji di benefit nsem no omo sa akọ asafo no nkrata mu eyi sa di bena na obo ne din di ama na watwe o de asafo no nkrata wo yi nyina de film said dia abusuafo ye kan ye to so say thereafter Apostle Kwadwo Safo tienio thereafter Apostle Kwadwo Safo appointed his daughter Honorable Adwoa Safo as head of the family and established a succession roadmap for the future leadership of the Kristo Asafo Mission. And you say Every Sabra na Konoa. Ye papa, Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka. After so what did the burning free Israel Kwadwo Safo, your brother Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena Seminole. Ena, Omuchese Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka, eyi ono ane baba, the baba beya, Honorable Adwoa Safo, ya about 1 person, no sense so, okwa, ye my Ghana, my shibe jofia, don kese no, no ye mobile nunia mobile no that one no DH and I say mobile no da three na be anyway deputy majority leader so na person can or more another it was just say sa bro na mu Apostle G to be free ne ba Akofena nsem no and what the man ne baba Honorable Adwoa Safo. It was said thereafter Apostle Kwadwo Safo appointed his daughter Honorable Adwoa Safo as head of family and you say Apostle Kwadwo Safo appointed ne ba Honorable Adwoa Safo say ona ebeda Kwadwo Safo busua nyina no say the busua fo ikata om de abai omo kan ene ye baako after what was say and established a succession roadmap for the future leadership of the Kristo Asafo Mission. Enti aside Apostle Kwadwo Safo the busua fo ikan aside Apostle Kwadwo Safo ebo no ani baba di ne baba beya Honorable Adwoa Safo din say on nemra meda busua no ano wo meya busua pen head of family ever ma Kwadwo Safo busua no and after say abre no anso to ne bo ase e de ne omagu akwam e de nsem gu akwam e de nsem odi gu akwam ebodi be kan say succession roadmap for the future leadership of the Kristo Asafo Mission. Na say abre no amu ayebo Honorable Adwoa Safo din say o meya busua no pen ni no on the busua no and apostle din magu akwam kwan ye be fa so adachi bi omo betimi eyi die oba beda asafo no ano that won be yi de oba beda just asafo no nyumakuo ina ano na bibia ye boko so won chese no so apostle to sana mo establish a succession roadmap for the future leadership of the Kristo Asafo Mission. The succession framework was amended and explicitly excluded Mr. Israel Safo from consideration for the leadership position. So almost say, Yankama will be ante say, succession roadmap wa ye kan ho asem. Yeah, omokrata mo say Apostle Kwadwo Safo be obo ne ba Honorable Adwoa Safo tin. Abusia mo say o the chronological pattern na ma akoso chronology of events akoso ebesi bebe edu na abusia fa to ombo ase cheche no. Inti after say, o jiji benefit ne baba ansem no. And after your mom yi ne ba o jiji benefit ne baba ma Akofena ensem no. And o ma o ko yi ne ba ni din ni tumi a o de ma ne ba no. Efri asore no emla ko yin mu. And after baba ne baba Honorable Adwoa Safo din say ona says you obo ni din say o meya abusua pani emfa ma Kwadwo Safo abusua no. Obo ne din wie no. And o hwe ma o de niam agu akwam. E niam o hwe ma o de gu akwam na aye kwa obefa so na daachi bi omo betimi ayi panyina won e ba beda Kristo Asafo Missions no ano na watu anamon bia se bia daachi bi e papa ni wono mu a wo mu aka wo betimi atu anamon ema asafo na timi atumpon ama asafo na fa na tuma pefa nya asafo no nko a anything related to the Kristo Asafo Mission, anything that involves the Kristo Asafo Mission conglomerates na hodo ina no said yes it here na to aso no ye to aso no chiro say accordingly the succession framework was amended ti han ye obusia. Accordingly, the succession framework was amended and explicitly excluded Mr. Israel Safo from consideration for the leadership position. Do you say? And I'm saying, no, a year, a quite a first near Benya, Banodeni, Dutch, Mr. Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka, anyone, almost a claim was sorry, no, and we're queen. No, almost a claim, no. And a dear Bakwa, more kind say, almost a claim, we no. Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka, ma omu neba. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena din firi mu se daachi bi ontimi emedi asafo nanim daachi bi ontimi mekura dibre bi ase o na ebeda ne papa eni o ma na asafo ne ma wagya no ho nyina ano abusia ho se da abusia fo ni chense mu enti after bibia no Apostle Kwadwo Safo mo sakra eni ma mu no o mo chere se Apostle Kwadwo Safo ma o mo de to se minimu ade e ba da abusia fo na eka o mo chere se Apostle Kwadwo Safo ma o mo de to se eya ne ba Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena de dachi bia no ontimi ma emefa dibre anase dachi bia no ontimi ma emedi dibre bia ni e wasafo no say accordingly the succession framework was amended and explicitly let's say why emphasize it and explicitly excluded Mr. Israel Safo from consideration for the leadership position. Let's say dachi bia no yeah ne dachi bia ba bedu ne say ye be panyina obeda asafo na no ye be panyina obeda the Kristo Asafo Mission ya brother Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena de abusuafo che se ono onka ho kra because Apostle Kwadwo Safo ma explicitly omo yi ni din di film say ono de that should be as the bia cross aba onka ho bi. His name was removed from it explicitly. And no ye krata no abusuafo de aba press release abusuafo de aba be say 1 hour ago na aba kwantia ye di ho nkomo. Enti ano so yensem bia omo ekasenti se ba se bia omo leadership omo pe leader e de ama asafo no any mission na Apostle Kwadwo Safo card to one. Yeah, Israel. Kwadwo Safo Akofena de. O share akrata omo che say o yi di film explicitly na say actually bia anyone say de omo kana omo krata him. Yeah, to also say that's what I'll say. Following the passing of Apostle Kwadwo Safo on September 11th, 2025, has continued to discharge the responsibilities entrusted to her by their late father and has served as a principal representative of the family. So what you say? Didimwa ena eye afi etwa mu na afi mpimienu ene adienu num Yesu Kristo wu achi. Bosume ebobo sume num ye biche bosume Ghana, September 11th, 2025. Ebeto just say, "Ya papa Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka misremeka wada ne bonkum so ya sebi waka ntena gu abra aduane si jaso." Na no ko ba sa no. Ebuafo nche se sa abra papa ye nyame dia no. Eye onabo sara Adwoa Safo ya mebi atwam no ye masibe duane yi. Ede ma de she odo me ko benya abato peso aso. Oni ni nuanom. Ni nuanom ata onabo sara Adwoa Safo achi. Ya ono ena wotu na mo bia se wotu na mo bia dwumadie bia ne papa de share ne nsa se abusuan mu panyin bia ne papa ti asno September abobo sumu no ebesi ne na se ohwe mu abosumu bia se nkunu nie no ono abo Adwoa Safo na ne nuanom abo ne chidom ne adonten ama wotu etu na mo bia se fata waye bibia ne kwanso kakra akwa mana ba bedu sa abre abusua yeti ayedi ehun nkomai enti otu sa na mo na enye no kwa afase wotu sa na mo nyina no wasanso agina mu ya bibia mu no won na aye the principal representative of the family na say wagina ma besi na ene ya me no ka say ade bia fa abusua no ho anamonto bia ho benya say ye benya abusua no mu nipa ne bi na o magina mu ade ama abusua no ye benya abusua no mu nipa ne bi na o magina mu atimi agina mu ahwese bibia ba ye boko bibia ba ye kama bibia ba ye asubye ene ma abusua no o mo kyerem say MP former MP ono and ejemu a waye a principal representative of the family to ejemu akonkode dia mabusia no say ne papa bold things according to obusia for say won kai say ne papa bold things say wono na on be ebusia pani bra ne papa kwati ase no enti so woni hu a on na eme ebusia pani na so ebusia pani di bre share ne sa e bra ne papa eti ase so watchim sa and afei omo ba be chem events leading to the shooting incident afei ebusia for no chem kakra de si yankasa ansa na ono Sara Adwoa Safo ya ona ye machine dwani mechanical machine dwani ye bu ni to obusia ma no brace wakra na ento aso madaroma obusia pacho medama se madaroma enti afei obusia for to ombo ase na wa kirem niam ahodo a esi ye ansa na ono Sara Adwoa Safo former MP for Dameko Abinia sebi nipa bi ebontu allegedly. Also, events leading to the shooting incident. Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo, in collaboration with certain elders of the church, sought to organize a private installation ceremony aimed at declaring himself the leader of the Kristo Asafo Mission. And to almost say, Papa, Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena. One asafo no mu mpanyimfo bi ene koka bom one asafo no mpanyimfo koka bom media no poso mu dinana se one asafo no mpanyimfo bi aka bom se poso mpakwan bi aso na omo epe baabi na omo ye install omo de si akonya so privately na se enya ade a ebe ye known to all but ya papa Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo ene one asafo mani bi ka bom a omo to anamon se omo be shada ahihye anam be organize private ceremony solution ceremony bi yeah, and on the entity on yes, and some person don't declare ono your brother, Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo say, ono your brother, Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo say, one year leader at the Kristo Asafo Mission. In Tebusia Fund, almost there be almost too many because almost say Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo, Esheda, and only the public boom. Only elders, na say, and 24 no share on a equation with the no, only elders of the church. nti o chira no elders ni bi ka bo mu a omo yes omo be private ceremony bi na omo de no private installation ceremony bi na omo de na se akunya so say be ya oba be say we leader of the church and na busuafo kan wasem no say contrary to the wishes and succession directives of the late founder it is adwumadi e course we no a ebeto de yin hu bi a be report to bi say Kristo Asafo si ye papa na say brother Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo say one the leader of the church no eye abusuafo de omo say omo kan ho bi a te say eye kwoti kwan bi so na eye yirua Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena ene asafo ne mpanyimfo bi ekopa kontina say omo de ni bi si akunya so say leader of the church na saa de no omo tu anamo no omo tu ye no so no omo kan ho bi a te say eye contrary to the wishes and succession directives of the late founder in design of course no enye saa na Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka Apostle Professor Emeritus Otias Okan there be the Apostle Otias wanka say oniwa ne ba Israel Kwadwo Safo saa na busuafo e ka say Apostle Otias wanka say ne oniwa ne ba Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena on na emra na o me take over the church and as o me leader of the church there be so wanka ne saa afei and also nye Apostle akuma so nya ne wish say oniwa ne ba Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena be take over the church after also to also be say saa de ye course enre saa de ye course enre omo de omo nyina nimpa say against the succession directives because on what the can so na making kan na me trim say omo aka say Apostle Kwadwo Safo e ma omo succession directives na succession directives Apostle Kwadwo Safo de ma omo no on say busuafo le kata na making kan na omo kan wo say Apostle e kan say ne ba Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena busuafo na e kan say ne ba Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena de we yi na film say that actually say ekoba say asafo no ye pe leader ye oba be da asafo na no a ne ba na nka ho bi we yi ne ba na de film until the ban shouldn't be considered for a leadership position of the church na bi when you want here to be obeda asafuna no and the bedi church mu a enti abusuafo church there bi saa de na kwa private ceremony a enu ebeto dwa say ye brother Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena one one asafo asori no elders asori no mpanyimfo bi akohia mu omo ye privately no and yet the wish of the father and as the wish of the founder of the church after it is contrary to the guidelines and as it's contrary to the succession directives. Let's say said the Apostle Kwadwo Safo can answer to what church you now to say only wa e bia say nsi only wa we nemra only wa we nemko no contrary to sadie into mditu mu enyi after you to us say upon becoming aware of these developments, 2 members of the church initiated legal proceedings and secured an application before the court seeking to restrain the purported installation ceremony. Do I say Adwoa Safo no ana say ebere abusia no ebe hu say na ekoso na moto say any person omutu no omu kire say asafo ma na mienu nipa mienu ya omu ya asafo ma omu de omu antena se omu hyase etu anamo omu tiri na say omu hyase de aniema gu akwam tu anamo emra mu say ebe ya omu bepe court to mikrata na omu ede tabuo bi ato omu so say adwumadi na omu atese Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena ene asafo no empanyifo bi person ye no edi kwan se baso enti abusuafo no e kire se asafo mpanyafo mienu ekope tumi wo court ya court so de ma omo se omo mfa enkoma dwumadie ye person ye se mo omo nye enti ye mfa tabo injunction ento omo se de be ya omo ntimi go ahead and to consider say upon becoming aware of these developments, 2 members of the church initiated legal proceedings and secured an application before the court ceremony internet say omo ko pet to me krata or court one more kwan say ene ye mama kwan mbotimi akọ ma hwe say sa installation omo person omo ye no mo fa nche omo say there be mo omo ye restraining order from court wa enti bia omo ntimi enye bibia etisa o say accordingly several attempts were made to serve the relevant court processes on Mr. Adwoa Safo, but these efforts proved unsuccessful. The boy court mo say to me say what in the tabu court omo say mo nya omutu anamo bia se ene ye hwehwa na nka ye hu ye brother Mr. Adwoa Safo Akofena the court to me krata man say there be mamu ntimi mu ni tumi se mo akodi dwumadie bi etisa because court it to me krata o ntimi mamu nkwan but omutu anamo bia hwehwe Mr. Adwoa Safo Akofena hwehwe na obusua ankosi aga omutu anamo bia hwehwe no omo hwehwe no na omo hu no nti ankosi aga ya no nti omo ntimi ehu Mr. Adwoa Safo Akofena now we to say on the morning of June 21st 2026 June 21st 2026 here enro asem no okay enro akosi anopa asem no okay say on the morning of June 21st 2026 Honorable Adwoa Safo personally undertook efforts to serve the court documents on her younger brother. In Tienra, and Honorable Adwoa Safo said, "Ebi, the court was cast him say as a former legislator. Yeah, was Shema Ghana Parliament. Yeah, the court was cast him say, yeah, me book court him tia. Ti me boa na hwehwe ba bia, me nua ba ma ewo bia. Na ye dia man say na court eka. The name the court was some kan yenti no. Ene ye mamu ntu na mo bia nti eno mo che say Honorable Adwoa Safo afato no so say obehwe ni nua ba ma no ba bia wo bia. Na the nti ohwe ni nua ba bia wo bia say be ya obetumi a7 no with court and character che say mo nkonko ye dwumade bia etisa. Now, during the encounter, Mr. Israel Safo discharged a firearm multiple times in her direction and also instructed associates at the scene to open fire on her vehicle. Wow. On saying no asem we see him. Report able to you and say, yes, nipa. And now if you catch us, oh, money will be too near there. But the bush of ways was some more can say. Every honorable Adwoa Safo yes or no abet the better no hwehwe ni abema no 7 with court and some encounter no hwehwe no hu no. Abusafo interest in you and na make. During the encounter, Mr. Israel Safo discharged a firearm multiple times in a direction. Let's say Abusafo the omo say Mr. Israel Safo honorable Adwoa Safo ni abema ketwe or no na tutu no. I won't say the city until I don't know because in the report about nice security for na tutu no. But the Abusafo also allege say Honorable Adwoa Safo ni abe market to Mr. Israel Safo. Yeah, no. Ebi so yaso nese akunya so say on ebe Asafo no pen na leader of the church no. Omo chere say onu Mr. Israel Safo on the discharge firearm no. Na one discharge firearm ne ba ko Abusafo na ka. Or discharge firearm no multiple times. Yeah, ni na oto de hwe biaya Honorable Adwoa Safo no. So Mr. Israel Safo discharged the firearm multiple times in her direction and also instructed associates at the scene to open fire on her vehicle. And the Abusafo na allege say after say Mr. Israel Safo etutu no emproud also e de hwe ba bia Honorable Adwoa Safo and so and osan according to Abusafo na say come kan osan ka kire omo a na e wo ho no osan ka kire omo a e wo ho ya omo na associate and as omo na won be say omo so entutu emfa enko ba bia Honorable Adwoa Safo kan say nezo omo tutu ni bi emfa enko Honorable ne kai ehonum ti uze no e be show car no anakwa no so bullets bi aye traces of car to ababa bi aye ehonum anya sekto. This is a very heavy and that's a huge allegation Abusuafo you make say Israel Safo na tutu no e dey call and also I mean normal firearms no Israel Safo mo na tutu na hodo multiple times e dey call baby Honorable Adwoa Safo one and also sign catch omo ana omo say omo san tutu mu Honorable Adwoa Safo e kan so. A very huge allegation Abusuafo make. And I'll say the matter has since been reported to the appropriate law enforcement authorities for investigation. So what you say? Sabra no ka say. And some of the only na akọbọ amanya some of the na akọ dan wo mo ehwe say Apostle for ne bambo for ehwe say mra be adwuma e wo ye man Ghana. So one reporting na the appropriate law enforcement authorities said they are and so on. Said they are law enforcement authorities number 2 was now done some was ko ayemu hwemu a makosi ase e ko ba se bia asumasi na obentimi le difo e won sem ahodo no mu a e na Ghana mra and then they say city but you na edi one dance here no kwe and why you say na e beto odwa a letter from Ghana Police Service ebusua e ba beto odwa na omo chere say omo che nipa ahodo nsia e nipa ahodo nsia na Ghana Police Service so omo che omo no na omo na aye nkofo a I mean yin na isu say a police for chimo by and say omo ye security for na omo wo dwumadie na se ya isu say allegedly omo na tutu no ebie that says ya ensemo Abusuafo so eken and also a different ya omo chere say there be enye say bia obi na tutu just like that na mum omo de omo allege pass Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena on a tutu multiple times and call bia Honorable Adwoa Safo no and they baako afi obi no asa ka kire omo ana omo say omo so tutu and yeah they are some yet so how much I say this year I'm no ka say Apostle for e won sem mu an wodi sem na chire some di bibia betu ye na aboa ma asomdwaba now for Abusuafo no be chon position family's position e dey sem na Abusuafo no eka respect to all this buhaha ne ade a ne e ka say na we ka say ne ade no Abusuafo no position ne say yentie family's position. It's on the next slide my next slide into okay. So Abusuafo your family's position. Family position, I want to say This is the family's position. Almost want to someone making an idea, but you have to come back more car. And they are chair a sign. Or say, the family wishes to categorically state that it does not recognize any purported installation or assumption of leadership by Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena that is inconsistent with the directives of the late Apostle Kwadwo Safo. Means that to be him. Abusiafo na ka say yo. Omo position baby abusiafo ni na Adwoa dom is the same question. Okay. Is that possible for omo yen hwemu so ho. Enti bia mo mpa is that possible for yen hwemu akodo ase na fe bibia ya asudi. Enti omo say the matter has a medical can na family's position or say the family wishes to categorically state that it does not recognize any purported installation or assumption consistent with the directives of the late Apostle Kwadwo Safo. Tiabusuafo no say, yanka mo obi ante say, wo mo busuafo nyina mo ka am obi ate. Yenye say mo ka e dia wada. Omo ka chemu ye say, wo mo as family no. Wo mo anye enra insoye bi e ko so e kire say, eye Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena ena what's why I say ya on ebe da asafo no na obedi Kristo Asafo nim no omo nyi nso aye bi e koso sa antu first of all ne ba ko ti yanka mo obi ante say omo nyi sa ade antu installation bi e koso enra bia no omo nyi ntu da bi omo recognize bi e koso sa and afei omo nsa so nyi ntu say aye Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena wa hwedwumadi ase asesi a o na ebetu anamon ya anamon betu na afa asafo no anamontu asafo no day to day administration of the church. Esan say omo nim say sa no installation e course in purported installation e course so dey bushafo kan ya beto dwa e dey so amansa no omo nyina ko benkom titum say ene asafo no hyehyeye ene Apostle Kwadwo Safo ne nsem wa okato wo no ene no enhia enye pe ay inconsistent because omo asem wa bushafo na asem omo di kan say Apostle Kwadwo Safo ti asno okade to say dey bushafo ne kan okade to say that chi boni ho a neba Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena de wo yina free mu say ontumi emma meda emeye ba no dani emfa ma asafo eti abusuafo so omujitu mwenye da bi omunyi ntum say yes leader foforo e de ama Kristo Asafo Missions no ene e ba ko and omunyi ntum so say Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena sabe on na ba I mean we be take over the church as its new leader and also they don't accept it so so omujitu mu enye ene yen se ne bia busua omudi atodwa afi yen to as well say accordingly the family dissociates itself from any claim by Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo that he is acting on behalf of the Kwadwo Safo family or with the authority of the family. Jaffe, Abusiafo say, "Yankama will be ante." Abusiafo say, "Yankama will be ante." Ni die abase kwan so say, "Omo twe omo ho afiri." Ensem bia Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena ka bia. Abusia Madaroma. Abusiafo say, "Omo twe omo ho afiri." Ensem a Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena ka bia, omo twe omo ho afiri. Na nsem a oka ya na ochiem se o oni abusuani na aka bom na or two na mo be o two in line with the family or say accordingly the family dissociates itself from any claim by Mr. Israel Safo that he is acting on behalf of the Kwadwo Safo family or with the authority of the family. Tina say yeah Mr. Israel Safo kasi o two na mo bia ya o two abusuani di mu a omo jitu menye ye entesa ti omo nyintum they don't accept it and they back up and afei omo say aka mo bia te say na monto bia o to na sade bia o ye o se o e bia abusua no etachire abusua no efa na so no ye no omo nyintu ti abusua fa na twem de free sa na ma nyina so de omo twe okata no and after omo say to so bi no say the public is hereby advised to exercise caution in any dealings with Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena that purports to present the interests, assets, leadership or affairs of the Kristo Asafo Mission of the Kwadwo Safo family. Enti abusuafo ne se yen kanche amansan nyina omutu nyina ye honfo omutu wiase nyina ne public na obi afo se enti se koba se bia yetu anamon bi na anamon wa yetu no yetu se yene yera Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena na etu a yenya abotre yentwentwen so na yenhwe ye omo yen exercise caution See, Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena etu anamobia in his capacity as the leader of the church, in his capacity as the leader of the Kristo Asafo Mission, and the business conglomerate near the na. Omo catch obia Ghana ni biya sina say obia emphasize caution. Say one Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena ebetu anamobia ya etesa. Igina yinya abotre and I say emu obia ko entu anamobia etesa so na ebusuafo eka. So they see etie. Okay, you know, that is it. It is only we could two and among be at this. Now, I'm not to know. Only say the interest of the Kristo Asafo Mission, and I say in the interest of the Kwadwo Safo family. Almost say pa say. Yen sheni. Now my prayer won't go to an among be at this. And yes, sir. So the public is hereby advised to exercise caution in any dealings with Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena that purports to represent the interests, assets, leadership or affairs of the Kristo Asafo Mission or the Kwadwo Safo family. Tiana monto bi etisa ya ebia ebibiara ebe na adwese bia otu ya na monto otu no otu a representing the interest sabi eniema ne Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka na ojitum eniema ne Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka na eye ni gidie na eye ni nyina so na ohun se bia okutu na mo bia beboa in the interest of the name Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka almost here is a caution. I was an amount to no ye bako. Afe say na mo bia yebetu ye bia yetu anamo na ye di hu say aye in the interest of the Kwadwo Safo family and so omo catch you na say no so yetu anamo bia say we should exercise caution. As I say interest, assets and leadership of affairs bia of Kristo Asafo Mission and the Apostle Kwadwo Safo family dey. And you can say ye ni nua bema aye Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena to abusuafo na kanyam na meka amoto ye fosa enso ho. Now yet also say any person who chooses to engage in such dealings does so at his or her own risk. In the about one someone boss in it will be a cost was there be or better akoso any ye wo fair to an amount and ye we ya now wow yes at your own risk. One away unya a change one so be now our fa ultimate bubbles and for ultimate bob be amade. Anyone who does stuff like that does so at their own risk and no it's not at the expense of the family. And after also you say the family further knows that a number of matters involving Mr. Adwoa Safo are currently the subject of concern and scrutiny and reserves its right to pursue all available legal remedies to protect the legacy, assets and wishes of the late Apostle Emeritus Professor Engineer Kwadwo Safo. Tiabusiafo ne say omo de nsem to nsene na omo e de nsem ko bankuro mu ehwe ne ma bi etisa asem ba ko pe na omo ka asem omo ka ina ne say omo abusiafo no omo nim se ensem kakra wo ho na ensem kakra wo ni na ya ensem we fa ye brother Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena na san ensem abusiafo na e kan san ensem a e fa ye brother Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena no san nsem ni na no ensem a ehia se omoto ombo ase na ensem ehia abusua no subject of concern na fa ensem o se omoto ombo ase no hwehwe ensem no mu na omotimi dinyi na fa mra kwan so ema bibia kokko wieye ema bibia koya suje se de be ya ombetumi abo Apostle Kwadwo Safo bra obebo ye no obetumi abo ho ban edi obegya wasase so ene bibia na gidi nyema bia na wogidi wo bia ye obeye wasase so obetumi akura mu ye na enkonko ye basa ti no mo kasa nsem wi na e de akira masan ti omo de nyema gu akwam na say omo be pursue all available legal remedies to protect the legacy, assets and wishes of the late Apostle Emeritus Professor Engineer Kwadwo Safo. So omo de omo wi ata say enye se bia na bonus wana se bia omo pass bi na mom Apostle Kwadwo Safo bia obeboy enye ma obeye ne di wagya wahwe omo pese omo pekwan bia omo betumi bia se be ya omo betumi agent na se omo betumi ari so omo maintain papa no status di obeye na omo betumi akra ni na nkoba se bia ebinom akwanya beba ma binom ebu papa na nimtia na se akwanya beba na ma papa na legacy bia obeboy di obegya wasase so no ase ye di agro enti omo di omo abusuafo no omo ye krado awiata so se empo ekoba se emramu ena omo emfa nsem wi nyina anko na omo ni mra na chi anko nko wi se ensem no be wi asodwe mu na amabia iboko na ntiase aba. They are ready to take that step through any available legal means ebeboa na amapipia eboko ebeboa na amapipia and so I asked you said the bear almost say bibia ne say papa no legacy ya obeye ajapade ya obija wachi and afi papa no anso na kuma so ade a na owo ombebo ni na ho ba omo hwe say ni pebidi bedi agro ama akofo how any amania aba now for omo wie no omo say the family calls on all members of the Kristo Asafo Mission, well-wishers and the general public to remain calm, respect the rule of law, and allow the appropriate institutions of the state to address the matters currently before them. Indeed, I want to say, one more bushing for one more can at the chair Asafo no man Kristo Asafo no man na afenya Asafo man kwa. One more can the chair obi biara. I mean, or tears, we know why bus, I don't think now, no dear, no dear, come up with well wishes. Any a man saying, I say, Obianya D. Obianya Botre. Obianya comb. Na Obian fair ni D. Any boya a sefata. And from my Ganambra. Na Obian train so copy say, and somewhere woman and him sabri. And somewhere Apostle Emeritus Prof yes Apostle what shall say you shimuni at the animal to be a cabiano. Omunya bote. Na mo fa nyina emrane nya adwuma se yese na efata na empanifo into na mo se ensem na obutu mo na mo asomdwe kwan so na abo ma bibia ye bokon je afutuo ne adesere na mo tu yin anim se yenya bote titi oni asafoma no e na Ghana man na se yenya bote ne hwe se de ensem no ebesi akodi abusia we e krata straight away a free abusuafo ho aba ye de abesum na ntini na ye with respect to Apostle abusia deze ya abusuafo no so e de abani o na say I don't know and no che say nra enso ya ne ade ekoso omo de omo njintum eno ye baako omo ka mo bia te say omo njintum and omo church nsem bebre mu yafe na me say bebo mebebo na tofa but nsem omo ka key point wo no omo che say yes omo di 2 years in the year 2017 Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka ebo no ane ba Akofena me bon tofa in the year 2017 omo di 2 years Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka ebo ono ane ba Akofena din say onna omra na omehwe ne niema so onna omra na omehwe niema wo jana wachi na eso se be ya bibia be boko but omo din wa dance ye pa so say sa 2017 na Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka born e badin se omra mehwe niema wo jana wachi no echi no afei ebe adwumadie ni ade na ekoso na no e na omo hu se afei ebe adwumadie ni sa na ma Apostle share ne ban nsa na ekoso no hu se anasa Apostle say adwumadie na share ne ban nsa enema bi ekofom enema na make abusuafo ne krate no omu se enema bi ekofom na enema ekofom no kwa na ekoya ma ne kokoye se afomu se businesses ene enyuma hodo no ebi kwa ho a egui the elnso a na obodo beka se omu se nearly collapsed anasa near collapse na se ayese tiase ewo enti no ekọ ha adwen afa no koda nchen a omu se atina se no omu hwe omu se debi afei asafo no nso a ye de ahye ye brother yin sei abusuafo na eka asafo no nso de ahye brother yin sei omu kire se omu hwe ni bi ana yakoso ni ade a na yes some of the foundational principles fapem wantima asafo no ho eni o ma asafo ni jitum ye ntia ma asafo no ho abesi ne no na afei omu se sa fapem ni na bi o na yes sa no ebi o na se and since there were alteration what I say omo water asafo ni na so ni asafo ni fapem enti na namua 2017 om de yeni abe masi akunya so in the year 2014 that is 7 years later and Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka ye na adwen se da bi o se me be me am de si akunya so se o na emra na o me da asafo no de ema me tintim ye ma bibia ye bokwa I mean ewo mremu na obi ati ase but me am sa to ebu ase ahwe nsem bi se me ba no dwumadi ana se bibia am de share nsam massage afri nsam enti ma je se on se ebusuafo no characters in case afọ na me kan wa and ebusuafo na ebusuafo chim se enti after 2017 bonza na enu akwani ni aba kasa no kasa o papa no bo ne ba ne din se ona ni wo mra me kra na japade ni ade interview na media so pa ya o chese o ne ba no oso na nipa anti no de la koma so nti wona ma me kra na japade ni bibia na se wona mehwe na chi omo leader but I'm sure say papa no hwe yes an e ma we na course no eni ma be sisi sure say afa bra papa the brain na share ne ba nsa no omuhu say businesses ahodo papa ne share ne ba nsa nyina na ekofo I mean na omukasa omu say e collapse e bi collapse e dey bi so ho a it was near collapse na say ekofo omuhwe nsem ahodo na asisi ne ma na akoso a na omuhu ne say saa bre na so asafo na odan no eye ye ni abema ibe dan no na omuhu say asafo no nyina so asafo no fapem the principles I mean the foundational principles of the church no na sisa ase enipa bi sisa no afei na asafo no nyina so bebre ho a na ye ya hadwen nso no mo dwen ho a o mo nte ase na no so akoda nchen kra eno kra sa akoda nchen a na omu ni se sa bre na no afei ye ni abema anase ye brother ye wo fa Akofena anamonto bi kra ho a na otu a na o sai se ono no authority e wa bre a wo se di bre na hye sa de bet na o mo alaji se za adwumadi a na odi na monto na otu na na on I mean on for reference Emma ne papa so what I say on for reference Emma Apostle Kwadwo Safo or your founder of the church enti I mean they are saying say these are some of the staffs because even though what be leader of the church ya papa na body the amount here but sabe no mo say na ne papa tias e no be phone lines so be a fraction adwin why enti enche maybe phone lines in about 5 minutes and no be a friend but just be friend madam ma no be a chi na adwin che aba enti omo ala say sabe no a ensem we nyina wom sabe a ensem we nyina ekoso I mean sabe that Asafo no wotu anamo in the interest of Asafo no now say say the authority but the people say the authority no na nke be bibi kura omo abusuafo na eka o e bia na mo bi kura na wotu oh papa e bia mpese me ye bibi say papa mpese ye say na wadwe ntwe nse ni ade but omo say sa niam a bread say wotu anamo nyina no de we ye bia no wa mfa busua na nka o and say de we ye bia no wa consult the papa and I say one for due reference money papa in his doings our year which omu said there be na enkoba santia no and afei wo hwe said omu chese na adwuma ne ade ekofom no a and ma apostle yes there be na santia dia me ana me di dwumadi me ana me tu sa na mo say me bai the dwumadi so say ahye ne sa but say me ana matu kura no a me sa asesa dwumadi me sa asesa na the gram the man no the ahye ne sa so that was 7 years later 2007 to 2024 7 years later and apostle yes there be obetu no boase na wasesa the blood share ne balance and so what Jeffrey nsem because omo che say ebra na you do business how do you call from ebi kura gui ebi so wa busiafo na eka o say business no be gui the emu kura so afa near collapse na say ayeti adwuma na ayeti asewo I mean the Kristo Asafo conglomerate no na ayeti asewo esa de compare Asafo no so they are na papa ni be di ho ya na say there be any on trans de biara da e mani mansa because on the Asafo ne buy yeah Asafo no fapim foundational principles in ano papa Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka ona sabi nyame eso no daya enam so ma ne basa nti ebusiafo nche se da bi so no papa ya ona ye kofa ba de ma Asafo no na otonya wu no say foundational principles of the church na no ye ota no dia na won pen ti na mo didi mu a mai papa yi ekoyi esesa na asem o ka ye na oyi ne ba no ema oyi ne ba no edin di film say da bi me na di man ba ma je film sem ema ebusiafo no say church nsem bebre a owo say ka ema obi ati ase biem say after that no yeah yes was san ba no say when you leader of the church biem no afei on say Asafo no womra governing structures and I say governing framework of the church in better words be the rule of law and as a roadmap and as no of the constitution of the church men kan say enti abusuafo nche say Kristo Asafo ye papa kan tanka abusuafo na e kasa Apostle Kwadwo Safo abusuafo on che say no kwanti no papa no say akọ Asafo no enkrata mu the governing framework of the church mu ema okoyi sa sha no ya to so me ba no na emedi ma ade da chi mini wa ba no medi ma ade no okoyi ni na de fi wono e de fi Asafo no enkrata mu se da bi wo yi de frame ya on konko ese na no achi ana busiafo nche se eya Apostle Kwadwo Safo kantanka ebo no ane baba honorable Sir Adwoa Safo din eye former MP do me kwabenya din se onna opese obeye abusua no mu panyi enti sa bre na na ote ase na no after so yi ni ba Akofena din di free se de abusuafo ike e de free Asafo no krata mu se enyo na ye panyi ana se onyo na leader for church the church bi mu ana or science so ball ne ba sa Adwoa Safo din say this year person ne ba no point say o meya busua panyi I won't say ethnicity say na busua fo ne ka from that time ne ba na ne ba sa Adwoa Safo ne be busua panyi na sa bro na busua won sa chim say after say o ball sa Adwoa Safo so o meya busua panyi no o say mom the road map eto wonom road map me chere on the name gu akwam say okay say Asafo no kra no ayeso no that be say ne be ye no that be say papa ni wono mo a nipa obedi ade ne kwa be fa so ni enti omo establish a succession roadmap for the future leadership of the Kristo Asafo Mission. And almost say chemu biem say succession roadmap ko omo establish here. Yo kwa nyame ni say Apostle Kwadwo Safo amende ne mama or explicitly or say ne ba Kwadwo Safo Akofena ya nei and rabuto just say Asafo na this one e leader no. O kan to say e ma ne ba Kwadwo Safo Akofena ne ma no nyina no de ontimi emma meda Asafo na no abusateli o because one say accordingly the succession framework was amended and explicitly excluded Mr. Israel Safo from consideration for the leadership position. Jina say almost sakra Asafo no enyina so nya Asafo ne fa pemi bibia mu na almost sakra Asafo no enyina so ne fa pemi bibia mu no e na papa yi emma o tradition mu ma o tradition mu say na so na ba Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena de ono yes could ye na free dachi say Asafo no na say leadership position bia no ye consider ne bi na say on kan obi tina buja fon chese there bi omuji tum say enei Kristo Asafo enya new leader ye Kwadwo Safo Akofena enye ye because to the best of their knowledge 2017 Apostle Bonnie 7 years later Apostle Sam mo sakra asori no na say Kristo Asafo Mission ni na so mu ema oyi the band din say the ban that be want me me kwa di brebi etesa tini ense no yebusuafo no eka enso on ama na so mo che say e papa eku ati ase obo honorable Sir Adwoa Safo do kwa benya MPD say ono na won hwe tree no nto na mo bia se bibia be bokọ bibia be aso enti no ono na wa hwe akira bedu sa abra busuam ho am na o kase na wa hwe akira be fim sa abra mampo ebra last year afin pimi onya de nunu ebobo so ne to so duba ko 11 September 2025 a sabi Apostle ye nyame dia na MP ya former MP ya Honorable Adwoa Safo ya enam di ben papa shine sabra na oti asenti what was where this had the brain na ahodi on to say the brain dia ma na aso aye de oso ye bia enti wono ene nua na mu nyina ata na chi abodi chi dom ene adonten se de be ya obetimi atu anamama bibia ye boko enti abusiafo no mo se da bi omo ntimi hwe se asem Apostle aka to no na bia nei mentimo wase bia na se bia nei bibi don be ye din ama enima bia dane ebi etranko na samanto bi kura bebem ne ade nti no mo jitum sa enyi enso so ehonum enti eso kire se Apostle honorable Adwoa Safo de ni nua no nyina ata na chi ebra ne papa ye nyame dia ye mo to na mo bi se fata enso so ehonum a enya asem keto akra nti no so yensem a ebusuafo na ba bechim ana ebusuafo na sa make some huge allegations o ase a enya asem keto na omo kire se omo ni mpefre se na ni kwase bibia sa akoso na omo hu se Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena na woni Asafo no emu mpanyimfo some elders of the church aka bomu a enra omko hie baby a private installation ceremony but omo jitu wente sa omo nyintum the brother na omo say sa private installation ceremony enra omko hie baby ye no anase enra omo ye no menka no samada omo fa nche me private installation enra omko ye no omo say na Kwadwo Safo Akofena epese kwa bia so one abusuafo ni bisia na omka bo na so pese one Asafo mani bisia mpanifo ni bisia na omka bo ni sia kunya so se on ebe leader e dey ama Kristo Asafo Mission but no so there omo nyintum da bia da because that is not the wish of Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka also ethnicity e abusuafo ni se mo kan na say omo there the wish of Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka and on person maintain the wish of Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka and on person who dia e dey pim sabre enti they wouldn't sit aloof na ebia and be omo say enya the wish of Apostle na ebia di pemi bu ntia ti na omo so ni abra omo kan sama wodo na e dey eche amansan say the city Adwoa don say Adwoa would say okay ti abusia no so yakra omo ka na onim omo sa change mu kakra en rounds asem we see e be to odwa say eye bodyguards bi abusia on say no asem we see e be to odwa say a bodyguard be and there's a leg say bodyguards me two to one. If you go say wo there be run answer na kwani ni oba kasa ni oba na or ya sorry ba no ho bi o say wo there be na Akofena kwara de course na wo hu because I don't know what exchange and e no omo na ya ma be na see akunya so. But abusuafo nso asem mo kan say asem first of all asafo man no say bibi say be koso na mo say enye papa na koma so ade nti asafo man nipa mienu ekope tumi krata asafo man nipa mienu abusua ekope tumi krata e wo court ma omo kwan say abusuafo wo mo enko na omo fa restraining order enko ma Kwadwo Safo Akofena ene nipa mienu a akai say any kwan say wo mo epne ema dwumadie no course because it is against the laws of the land. In the ampa court mo the restraining order so what I say emo church say so ampa obetim dia akọ say mo kutu na mo bi etisa ene adea mo koye ni na they also we bi omo ye but they are surprised say despite we na no kokoba na say be we na say na ba enti no court the 2 minute kata na ma but after say court the 2 minute kata na ma eye nipa mienu say omo enko na omo nko stop e and as omo fa kata na ko serve Kwadwo Safo Akofena say oni tumi bia say e wo so ojidumadi bi etisa no also omo hwehwe Kwadwo Safo Akofena wo ma hu no ko say court ma tumi kata also ko serve obi a first of all also said o hwe nipa no in persons but o china na hu nipa na eboni ka bibi say e fa bibi mramo e fa bibi substituted service na busunya substituted service ni na say nipa ne bia o say de 7 ye ko ni fi a odi wo ye ko adwuma mu a odi wo e bia nipa ne di hide sick nipa ne pese de ebe hu no se basa substituted service ne say itimi ma kwan ko che court ma kwan so ken sa dia ye fa nko boko wa kratem ye fa nko ko wa kratem which graphic mu another than China itimi su ka che so okay sa dia bia nipa ne say na adwuma mu o ye adwuma wo company e wa hai ba ye hu na fa ko bo notice board of the company because and the su say ko bo notice board of the company denia as any corporate entity be as any organization be a school go aye notice board senior high school the notice board no work can the universities now sanet here yeah may announcement but you have to go to the notice board no correct your own enti e bia na bre na yetiawa enti no omo ntimi try the substitute service no but omo chia na omo hu no emfa ma en7 no with respect to the court summon ne ade na no na nam so a enra omo chere se bushafo chere se enra na nam so ono abo sa Adwoa Safo ye se za tie dia ono abeje eye court on summon kata na o ko hwe ni abe ma no ba bi owo bia no the court on summon kata no ama on ti de ko ba ya ma enra etu kasa no so what ya say enra de ko ba ya ne se ebe o ma hwe no a wo mu hu no na ono abo sa Adwoa Safo ye se mo hu no dia no problem wo de mo mfa to me car na se court kata no ma me na me amere hwe na ma de me dia ma no se de be ya na mo ntuo bi ese fata bia no etime tu ama so dwaba nti enra na mu a wono abo Adwoa Safo na no hwehwe ni ni abe ma Kwadwo Safo Akofena e de krata ya ma no a omo chim se wo hwe no akokodu bia ya na ni ni abe ma no wa na dwumadi bi sa e koso na abusuya omo che se enra anopa that is 21st of June 2026 enra akosi anopa Sunday anopa ya na wono abo so Adwoa Safo ye se de ma hwe na mu na mo fama me me amechina hwe na me de krata na ma nti wono abo ya na e de ka na mo a na wo hwe se obo ni abe ma no Safo se asem court wa kani nti don't go ahead na nkoye dwumadi bi atisa but omo chim se after say otu anamoni na so ba hwe na akoma ya me adum ko hu ni abe ma eye Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena na bushafo na aleje se ebe oku hu na so de kata na ma na za na bushafo na kata mo ya bra na omo twe mo menti mo se kakra ba ya enam so bushafo na aleje se Mr. Israel Safo mum na discharge firearm no say Mr. Israel during the encounter Mr. Israel Safo discharged a firearm multiple times in her direction tina say ebra ono abuko ni abe ma ye bi ode court nkata na ko 7 no abushafo na aleje se Mr. Israel Safo etamtu and say ototo e de ko be ni aba no the direction of the new aba and ye baako afa ye no nko amu chere se eno ati Mr. Israel Safo esan so e share omo ana kana ho no Mr. Israel Safo san share ni ni anu mo a na omo kana ho na say associate omo ana kana ho no say omo so ntutuo emfa nko Adwoa ono abo Adwoa Safo kana on because he say during the encounter Mr. Israel Safo discharged a firearm multiple times in her direction and also instructed associates at the scene to open firearm to open fire on her vehicle. After said Mr. Israel Safo, to 20 core be honorable Adwoa Safo. Omo che san so wa. And on where say catch omo ane kan ho say the busuafo yi Kenya na America. On where say catch omo ane kan ho say omo to mfa nko honorable Adwoa Safo e kan so. Tina ho say no aka no ya na da no. I mean who say then the two aboba ye ho man ya dey na che say nya asem ketu akra. Who say trace of bullets na dey ye kan. Enti no so ye. Tina busuafo na say kase. But up to now the good thing is omako gba post for man here. Ya post for I shall say to and seven one among you shemu ama bibia ya asomfie. Now, the asem na busuafo ne ka. Busuafo position o matchemu o maka say busuafo ina akọ benko magina ba bi fa akọ. Busuafo na sem o mka na say omo de omo ka mu bia to say omo enra de be to odwa ina be report bi say o Kristo Asafo si new leader Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena no. Omo ka mu bia to say ente sa da bi omo busuafo no omo anye sa enso ye course na omo nyintu. Family of Apostle Kwadwo Safo say omujitu wenye. So the family are stating this without any doubt, and without any contradiction. Say omunyintu say eye Kristo Asafo no, and that's Kristo Asafo. Yeah, Papa Kwadwo Safo Asafo no. Enra almost new leader. They don't accept that. It's omunyintu and ye bako. And after omunza also nyintu biem say eye brother Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo. Ona says ya wabe ye pay pa obeda Kristo Asafo. Aye Asafo na no da bi omo nyintum sa da berada na omo de omo say de ndi omo nyintum ne baako say Apostle Kwadwo Safo enye sa na o kan ye omo nyintum because omo nyaade a ebe ha anase omo nyaade a emfa ni de ni buo mu Apostle Kwadwo Safo because Apostle Kwadwo Safo ti ase no o ka de to onum say de omo ka ta ya mekin kan ebusuafo na e kan nyem na meka omo chese Apostle Kwadwo Safo ti ase o ka de to say ne ba Israel Kwadwo Safo de we na free dachi say obi obedi na ade anase obi betu anamon bia behwe say leadership position bia no we na free explicitly and or excluding about Israel Kwadwo Safo enti how say e beda story na ba betu dwa say since ade say na si enti enam sense no mobusuafo no they reject it without any contradiction completely say omo agitu wa enye omo reject say ade no akoso enso so honum say they are etie yes enti eno wachi na afabusua almost I chim say almost I so twe omo ho e dey free nsem bi a aye Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo aka ho on say na osua na kan say obehwe abusua ne ade bibia bewe na abusuafo ne chese da bi omo kan mo bi at say aye Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo yen hwe say omo ye wo na mo to bi a wo to ne dwumadie bi a wo di bia nra ade ekoso nya omo abusuafo omo se nimbi omo nkan ho bi but empanifo so chese etuo we nya tidizafo na eto but abusuafo chese omo nkan ho bi ebi omo twemu de free ho ene ye baako ena fe omo sai ka chi obi ase anamontu obi a Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo ye bia no onye sa on behalf of the family there he's not doing anything na oye bia and I say ade bia on behalf of the family there the oye bia no ono ana eye sorry abusuafo the oye bia no ono ana eye he is on his own abusuafo no nimbi abusuafo no ensa ase abusuafo no atwem e de afre ho enti ade bia so ni wa wo ya eye abusuafo na amane tumi da bi abusuafo na amane tumi bia so onye bibia enti no so de kakra ya abano and afa abusuafo no wie no mo say ka bidi atwe ye Ghana fo abusua mene wa wo hwe mi say omo tie na ye fo say sia na masem ya bentino so obi bia na Israel Kwadwo Safo Akofena e delay a all size caution. Yes, obi bia na Israel Kwadwo Safo e to na more size caution so we ye media person so dey omo kan omo ambodi there but anyway me fam pe manyem na make sure omo se mamom but omo as omo kan say so obi bia na Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo to na more yeah size restraints yeah size caution so the city so the bia boko na so obi bia na Israel Kwadwo Safo to na more na bia na more need to know Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo say e bia or representing the interest asset leadership or affairs of Kristo Asafo Mission and I say ebusua no a entesa ti se bia oye nipa o yankwankwa ho na bia Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo oni ne to na mo bi o che say ono or leader of the Kristo Asafo Mission tina o to na in his capacity as the leader of Kristo Asafo Mission omo che say entesa entino obi a say question say and am to be say question na so obi person no to na mo bi entesa obi a say question because oni sa to me no say the ebusua for no eka afei say ade bia wo to na mo bia wo to eye Kristo Asafo Mission no eyi yomu ana mo to bia otu a efa Kristo Asafo no mission ana se busuan na japade bi mu ni ade afa na mo to bia otu ye fa se Kristo Asafo Asafo no ba no dani e na wogina mu se in that capacity to say na mo na ebusuafo se yen kam obi ante there bi. He is not having that power. He's not wielding that power. Say obetu ana mo bi etisa in his capacity as the leader of the Kristo Asafo Mission. Enti yen hye na yenti ni na aboa nyina na bibia nso ayasme yenti no so yensem bibia busuafo no e de to gya busuasa bre ya me no kasa meka no so e de akyerem se de yenti ever say yenu as your brother etu anamon in his capacity as the leader of the Kristo Asafo Mission and baako ana said otu anamon bi in his capacity as say Kwadwo Safo family no original man na tu anamon bia busuafo on his own but not in the name of the family. They don't accept that say bia otu sa anamon in the name of the family tension so na bibia anya so tension so na bibia enso so enye boko said dia isi etie. Now I want to also give no say enti afeso maka we na the chairman sign na say enipa one ye brother yin obi obetu na mo bi say one ye wo fe na say ye nua etu na mo bia in the interest of the family bia no oh yes ene na wa na wo ye. You do so at your own risk. And this is a ukoto the omakan na achi na we say obetu na mo etisa na utu na mo na wa nhwe say asema abusuafo akan obetie na wa ye say de se fata na wa nkotie na ukotu na mo opemu a e hye susanso bia na eye wa wujejeje asem bia obe kire bia no obi a wuntimi meka hwinche obi a esanse omo abusuafo de wo ma kire omo stance mu ama obi atiase so it is imperative on ye ne aka say yebetie omo so asem o maka na ye de be bobra na emom se ko basa bia yes de bichinchina ye ntie omo asem o maka no na ye beto aso na ya ye de pese ye na so beto aso despite omo asem o maka say mo obi a ne ye brother into na mo na se o ka chinchina de untie wa ne om betu ye no ye brother betu na mo wa ende eye wa wasem ti asem bia be twa bia no omo mu hwem ho eye wa na oni omo anase wa na obefa wasem na wa fa wasem ya aswa e wa brebusuafo de omo entimi anase wontimi begroje abusuafo no with respect to asem ye be free and so aba e wo hono nti no so yensem bia abusuafo no krata of dia ben omo chechim e ya chairman sign and afi omo sa to so bia omo ka dia chairman sign say omo ka say empoya brother Mr. Israel Kwadwo Safo ayeka na aseme sa bia no ka say abusuan e wonsem bebre e na wo hono. The family further notes that a number of matters involving Mr. Adwoa Safo are currently the subject of concern and scrutiny. Nese, omuche say, "Sabe ku ayeka say, your brother Israel Safo ayeka na say. Ya wonsem bi oho abujanfo na eka, ya wonsem bi oho a sansem oho no. Sesi a akoye ensem a wo say omoto ombo ase. Na ensem we ha abusuan no. Yes, na ye baako. Ensem mama George na ha yasem ensem we ha abusuan na ye baako. Ena sanso ye ensem a abusuan na oni aka na beto ombo ase. Na oma hwehwem omo be scrutinize ebe den se no beto nsane ani na oma hwehwem se adabi asem we kura say yenye se ni ade ya hun se ni nyina afa ye brother Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena ho enti no wo mo busuafo no e wo sa atumi ni se ensem bi e fa ye brother Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena ho bia no omo betu na mo bi e se fata asuwadu miso asuwadu ne yen kada dum ba asem miso asuwadu kwa mi ni de ni abusuafo e na dum ba asem na ye ka asuwadu o tete mi oh, asuwadu ye ne dey me asuwadu me piano de mahwai me piano bia asuwadu miso oh na tete mi sa Ghana for mun so di wona ye mun tin asuwadu tete mi say asuwadu tete mi say de bia na piano e na akosia spokesperson e na dey asuwadu minti me oh ebi gwa was me here for me say ma akosia sewa oh asuwadu but the way am dey ayo be me that okay now you know but anyway that Yakuzi hasn't been sacked much on there be wadaroma but Yakuzi that so ma all you na from there sir there just when bibia say no forget bibia say bibia ye kama so enti I don't see ensem ni bia Adesafo you are welcome I don't see ensem ni bia odi atodwa ye di nyina ho komo ya wo che say omo kwa no mo hwe san ensem bia ensem bi o ha for enti be phone lines no na busia ma fracture ma dwen kakra ensem bi o ha for eye Apostle na say ye nua be ma Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena ho busia phone e ka san ensem no e wo so on to ombo ase na wo yani edon nsem no mu esuko ma bibia ya asomdwe enti ko ba se prekope ya nto ye boase na ye prayer ho koye na mo bi a ebe ha atwen so enti no so ye kakra ya ye de esom enti ni nsem bi a wo ka e ya kira mansa e na afi omo sa to so ye no mo che se sa bre omo de omo busuafo no mo kura sa tumi se ade bi oso mo ne famna kwan so no mo tu wana mo e ma Ghana mo ya adwuma bia no omo ebeto aso na omo tu na omo hwese bibia ebe ya asomchi na bibia ya boko nti omo busuafo no omo tu wana mo na bibia ya kama in line with say Ghana man Ghana mra enso esi etie e wo honom ya ti no so ya kakra ya omo de etudwa but omo say omo de omo ni abra say se okwa sansan mo ekwohwe because say omo say there was an injunction and isolation course me baako afi omo say allergy kra say Apostle Kwadwo Safo ka to onom say ne ba Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena de any kwan say obey leader of the church and as any kwan say obey take care of leadership position bia e wo ni wachi e na akoba ne sesi asafo no mu elders ne bi ene ya papa yi eno omo share private business yakunya so enti abujafo no say omo de enya ntokwasem but omo be family kwan bia so akwa akoduru da bia so omo kodu say be ya omo de be protect Apostle Kwadwo Safo the legacy the omo de hia omo plan say omo person protect Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka the legacy and you know they would go through all lengths they would go to every length also omo kubia say be ya papa legacy ne bro boy and ne ma odi an wetwe e betimi akra ne hi na enkoba say bia papa ne ni wonom na sabi o mese nyame ma ne mpare obi aye masa de papa ni wona bia na chi aye basa na say there be and you know it shouldn't happen that way so any concept basa they will take all the legal processes on between me take na boa ama PPA enso so ayasumpi now finally omo wie no ana omo ka bibidi a kire Kristo Asafo no ye sorry manos ene Ghana maima ene bibia ya odi akoma pa ne mpa pata ebusia na chi omo ka bibia kire se omo sere se yina yenya aboche afi yenya ojo kakra na afi ye makwan mamra na nya adwuma because say asem no wo mra nim enti ye twen se mra ne be ye adwuma ti e bra asem wo mra nim ye twen se mra be ye adwuma no se wan to boss na akopre ho a ebia na ekwa hadwen ebia na ekwa akofa ha na amane bia banti let's allow the Lord to work said yes senefata na abo ma bibia aye boko yes this is the letter abusia ewie ya yenka mission e free eye Kristo Asafo man ho and I say we free abusia no seremeka ye Apostle Kwadwo Safo abusia ho aba abanti the abusia sabe be phone lines na also fra na wa chewadwen the entire ye be phone lines ne say that number sense mbae yenyan kan wi ena hwe nenso dia ba bebom on say ebasa na ehadwen ebasa na ehadwen pa eni kwan say ebasa so enti eni bra bi na say I mean ye mu bi ya na me da bia me chem say there are some of the content you are reporting ya na ye mpel bi say enran na reporting here and that number reporting be bro me ya me mpe but what's we media person what's all the news no esom yes what you say because I mean impanyfo na yo mo be so man Ghana abaya of the abusia wetin your friend number na dey to comment section the pin number no comment section wetin your friend Adwoa Safo on ti dey akwa na ECC anti ase akasifo yi wachi na we ka say na we ye we na we ka say na ase da bia so no akwa bebre ya to hwe na opese of friend da obetimi your friend Adwoa Safo aba 0257 754-168 0257 754-168 wait me afre now the Adwoa aba fast answer mo yedi na ho komo hu ni say dia kwa dia na was empanyfo ya beboa na ma bibia to twa because we kwa dia see the bia so obi akotwitu na social media ya so na we che na adwen na we so aba na we so abechera adwen me no ya adwen me no nya adwen na we aka ye ka wi aye but to the extent say we be kwa ma akodu ba bi say tutu na bebem de na e ha adwen kwa anse busia if you so please I wait me afre now the Adwoa Safo aba show no so neti kakra yeah won so kana bibia and so aye boko yes so you can call and bring in your view as what this say yeah WhatsApp wait me afre on WhatsApp no normal call na wait me afre on WhatsApp and normal call na bibia aye kama yes nti yeah ye bra ye train say course be ban ye nya man fa Adwoa Safo ni bia ban free na dia ka bia and Amansan. Yes, a WhatsApp line. It sounds like a call line to be able to offer over to me afre. Now the watching about. Now GH Accra TV is the church for the family. GH Accra, the church is not for the family. Yeah, and the assuring the your family there. Wadaroma. GH Matia. Somebody may say supporting WhatsApp. Wadaroma. Support WhatsApp. After when being Sarah Boache, Mama say, Mama, we have a call here. Who comment at your pa? Mama Sarah Boache, and so adding the comment about yeah, Mama say, okay, and he say, all this starting from the church, let's tell true why. I say, Mama, after I say, hey, great to see you back. Now you been there, ja. It is ja near the aswari, Wadaroma, Unia Bema, a Jamuntina Meti baby, me and my sister, my mama and I will preoccupy. Muntina Yeti baby, now was your band. Now your person said, yeah, a sene fata Wadaroma. After now you say asemo. Now you say it's all about greed and wealth. Very sad. I asemo because I mean haji papa oti as now ntina no asem. Tibani say I say lumbadi ya that lumbadi as now ntina no asem. But I na akwa haji kakra. Afi when being now you say asemo and afi Sarabwach mama Sarabwach shame on the church mama. I asemo haji papa. Afi now you say so why were all those people gathered there yesterday to see him sworn him if that was against the father's wishes? That's also the question of Bibisa. Because Bibisa say Obusafo Church say papa no can say ema oniwa ne ba no and the ba Kwadwo Safo Akofena they won't team say the Obusafo can won't me me for leadership position bia. Was the church not aware? These are questions I want to Bibisa. If indeed say the Obusafo can say sanetia and another question Bibisa say okay and the Obusia are they not church no anymore now? Because Asafo man do papa no pa. Ti say na ye no cress, say no cress a minimum ade. Na Asafo man say o do papa yi. Ade na in the first place kra no omo value omo self for adwumadi e course. E wa ba if there's anything to go by when him say omo papa na say omo Asafo no ko for ba ye papa Kwadwo Safo so no. Ne fa pem na say ni na so asem a ode ejina so de e kato no ebini. So but was another news so report to be able to see and say and your brother Akofena on some members of the church no so be akwakoshia I say let's say with the mama hwe na me fa video ni bi to so babu so mama nya ho adwuma ja production team na tiam na so see say they some of the development ba e wo ho no let's say me aja yes can na yanka chen for no twa ha ntino yenhwe na yenfa eno so ho kakra ensom amansanti ye screen yeah, per video no yabeto ye show no so na busia obi ahu kakra why so the beya bibia by Grace TV so and so ewo honum okay until the mama screen record kakra bi na yemfa emma asemni asembe ba da bio ko yimu se bejo se ebewi until the enche you be show those winning now screen so na busa for almost this enche you be show why you record ya basisi anya dia beto so na obi an obi so despite and someone and busa for dia ba bonten no Kwadwo Safo Akofena dey on things odogu bi no abe akosi asafo mani bi a asa wodi wo na busa asem we but busa for so aka wo mo se mo maka ni se omo ntnase but then put legal means kwa no beteki e dia kwa akodu ba bi o se dura they will take all those means nabwa amabibia and so ayasumje said there is right okay so my main fan to so her na abusia munya mo abote wate adia anse ne kama man ni hantino me de baba to so show near din come update ni bebre na eba and I learn say abusia for edikin aka no this year Adwoa Safo nyame adom ahoden wo hono bro nyame adom ahoden aba e bompa se nyame se onu nyame na ankasa na ondom no divine healing na bibia enye asumdwe so what I say anti no ye enkomo ne bia anasensem ne bia ba that ni na enso esom ewo ehonom right okay enti are you ready are beto so na obi ahụ bi enche production team net am na say enche krabusua wadaroma be ready na bibia akoso enti me asem am bisa no me so wa hwe wono me ya atwe a if indeed say asem a apostle say abusiafo chese Apostle Kwadwo say ne ban de ema ometeki up leadership position bia ewo asafo say if indeed that here dia any e ban say Emma, baby Edri, na yaba bedu baby Edri. Because sanity, I'm sure say by all means, Asafo man should have been made aware. Say this is a similar ebi amo papa and I can't one because it's about your father, it's about the church and what have you. And this sanity there, I feel say Asafo Mission should have been made aware. And Asafo Mission, the are aware now. What is Osibonso can the same thing? So, Papa Kwaka to was saying, Osibonso ya Asafo ba. So Osibonso is aware. What about the other church members now? Could you also be say, we are aware, but a binom and no, maybe your preference to say in your pen, I'm gonna come back to there are so many questions, begging for answers at this point in time with respect to Krata. Everything for your Bible and now we have to ask a whole lot. Also, you business and memory. Now, your pinchum, and so on, maybe come said there is a tier, yeah. So, you're here ready. I better so how you show screen so see will be on. So, that's the update ever. Despite the piano, Kwadwo Safo has been spotted dancing with some members. Similarly, until they are ready, you be out so. Now, Obia Hono said there is a tier or Hono. Okay, I'm checking. Are ready? Now, at the bar. Okay. I was in the next 20 minutes. Updates are banana. They were some come pana fe. PPR and so I assume our Hono said there is a tier. I think saying you're ready. Okay. Mine. Okay. I think saying you're ready. Until they are ready, even on the way, now they are Babason. But that is it. Update Alban say he was dancing with some members of the church. Mama said not all the church members, but some of the greedy ones are supporting that greedy son Akofena. Oh, okay, I don't care. Well, I was avoiding church. Some elders of the church, and then now money, brother Akofena Ekushia at the purported installation. So they was avoiding terminal. I'm just say some elders of the church. Let's say. And yet, as a former Ukraine, I elders maybe. Okay, so here, I'm just only the principal elders as a baby. I learned something like of that sort. I'm now okay, networking. See me. I was young, I pay video, no, they are two of their mom. Now, I think it's not ready right now. However, the entwaso now you be who they are found. But that is the update. But Sabi Amanoka said there, Akofena has been spotted dancing with some members of the church. And asem kitwakra asem beba debi and so okay but nyame MP former MP na hoye papa that's the report in Saka say on abon hoye and they were hono ye bom price nyame na kasa na bibia enye asumtwe and so hono. So these are all some of the updates so let's get into some of the comments abe na yemfa there can be and so or I think that Adwoa saw the press release about one thing. Yes. Okay. Adwoa had the prophecy about Adwoa had the press release about one thing. Yeah, fan on to Adwoa so bekasa at their farm update about or the press release about one thing. I ain't in someone Adwoa so can be on the say national issue. It's a lumba bet me home because that lumba 11 months ni na asuma do tete me asuma do e ma me dia hodo e na akosia se wa pia na den dey is asuma do atete ma bra boss me what's ma me kan cha asuma do e dey asuma do wa menya maso de dim kakra nya sa okay anyway ndi yan hwe asuma Adwoa so dey aba beto do na okay Adwoa movement e dey ensem kakra aba tutwa. Okay, so where is it? All right. So I was for any. I mean, being like in someone. The for company Adwoa movement, and so at the abeto ekwa. Now, there's a press statement from Adwoa, a far Apostle Kwadwo Safo, and send me home. Now, Adwoa say, I have noted with grave concern and sadness the violent confrontation between the children of Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka linked to ongoing preparations for his burial and the resultant succession and estate dispute. Na odi yaw ne ra hopa yaw awodi ni arewa awodi na ne se efa mentimo ase akoso ma bi kra akwa se akodane etututu nyina bam ya ni na fa Apostle Kwadwo Safo ne ma ya waje omu wa akire ho ne ma ya waje omu wa akire ho na ene mu akra ma bi efa ne ma and afei ni na mentimo ase aba Adwoa na kasa the press release of the aba 1 hour ago on the aba ya efa Apostle Kwadwo Safo ni sie and afei the obedi na de ene na japade ho nsensemachi agofa mentimo ase wi na aba Adwoa say odi ya wo ho pa otenase enyi otenisuo ya chese opepa ni bia akra wontimi pepa and he has observed with sadness, he has observed with, I mean, a lot of concern. I ain't some to Accra. It was also say, though a lot of people are linking these events to a prophecy I made during the 1 week observation rites for the late apostle, my major concern now is what can be done to avert the second part of the prophecy from coming to pass with everything that is happening now. I say, baby, no linking go call Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka 1 week no. Okoshe okoka nsa okokoshe nkom bi wo. Na nkom sha okoshe no. E na ne asema be ama amafo be linke ni nkom sha okoshe no. No so won dey okam obi ate. Jagwaja na kase so okam obi ate, okam wi ase ene amansan nyina ate se. First of all, ono dey nya nkom sha amafo se abem na ohwe wo da bia no dey nya na sem. Enye nkom sha amafo se abem na ohwe. Na mom ono ne consent pa de odwen won ya odie ne, I mean ni how pa de na koma so pa ne se ombetumi atu na mo se be ya ne nkom sha na o share no we part 1 and that's the first part. Se be ya ne nkom sha na Jagwaja se o share no, ne nkom sha o share no. Second part no and only ade ono Jagwaja movement. Sa be dey here no pa se be ya the second part of the prophecy now o share no. Embem because first part na bem there. If the second part no ko bem a bia na akwa a bit disastrous. Na akwa a bit cancerous, and that is why I was seeing I mean all person you Ghana for you na you must be an commission was saying the second part of the prophecy no then you can be first part of the prophecy one me ah then can be to twa then be no also no say I wish to state that I strongly condemn this act of violence and extend my support to the family in any capacity that can help bring peace. I say all there. Despite the prophecy was share ya and commission was share ya first part about my second part and so na me ampate bia na akobem ono de enya ne concern na fe o chese o condemn is hard to see because look say no matter the see bia na ade ni patia tutuo de abusua enkwa no nyam yenu enkwa ye ba akopio ti ade e be mani pan kwa fa nyam ne kum nyam ne man kwa say bible ma ye ti ase but ye aso ye ne ye bitimi de owo bre. So, tinya di oba ade na eto nsa afro na nye bi betima go fo owa ba. E was ye twen wo firi ho. Se Jagwaja de o say, o kam obi ate say ono, sa amenti won say course no, atwe ne ho, I mean wa condemn se ni kwan say sisa, eni kwan say basa kra. Afei, ono so o kam obi ate say one day, obekoso I stand the support, se bi the empire pa edi amabusia no on the ready say or the support ni bibia amabusia no ekwan bia so akonyasa bia so obusia re so omuze bia Jagwaja bem no obeboa na asumdua ba o ready we bia na pon say oni obeka bom aboa na asumdua ba na amansem yi na to atwa na bobo bebe no yeni bebe ba menti wan so bebe ekoso na to atwa na timi aboa ama asumdue abasan say no Jagwaja movement there o hwe se be ya asumdue ebeba eno ne ade a Jagwaja movement ono so ehwe afọ say the current situation makes me apprehensive about what can potentially happen if issues are not resolved amicably. And we'll say one day, or share in some ways is out there. And Martinasi will say, hey, and you say, one can woman no man to an amongst the Senefata, no be an enough from dear, and one far and share in some year and come behind us with ya. And be an except with the written years see what you because of the prophecy of who any of the name comes shall be sharing. Ebi ekse bi betimi asi wachi no ebe ha adwen pa ebi ekse bi betimi asi wachi no ebi ana akwa ankoboa eti onye ne abra o ka sentempa anko o ready say emwa bi abusuafo so betimi aboa bia omu nyina be ka bom o makobe nko ma hwese asumdwe beba se be ya nkofo yi ne bia ma atri and after abusuafo to so you know say if issues are not resolved amicably, and I will urge all parties to think of how best to preserve the legacy left by the shining star of Africa. So also was service and funny out of food answer. Omu nyina nya abotre. Omu nyina nya akomatoye. Amasumjaba. Na mo ko ben ko amasumjaba e na the legacy of the African star, the legacy of the shining star of Africa. Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka. Niema wo je wo chi no motimi abɔ ho ban. Ahwe sɛ bibia ntɔba ha, bibia ya asumdua akɔ akosi awie. Ɛno ne ade a ɔno Jagwaja movement ohwe ni mpaibo na koma so ade pa ene sanse mo ayeke and after what was we not saying this situation has sadly reminded me of my own family situation and the disputes and confrontations simmering and waiting to ignite in the unfortunate event of my father's passing. Do I say on say yazo ko no be about to say she no sense we dey ho ena yeso ko ayase a eya nipa bebre ho omusu a nyese e bia nipa na oda won ti no omusu obi o wa no wo su ne ho oya na yie preko yes because sabra da chibi oduma kuma nyame mane mpare e na o mayi na ye ni nkwa na me o we na Lord Yesu Kristo dem but ebra oduma kuma weto ne nsa afro abi nyame dia no sabra no uni asase so wa ye nyame dia nti uni aniwa na o de yesu ama ho dia na o se empanifo ta ka se o amanfo obi o ko ayie na osu a nyese bia nipa oda no osu ne ho da achi ono so ne die mu na o hese say nipa no ye nyame dia da ho na ye twini nya de ne kro no a da achi sa ono so be ko ne sa enti o hese ani ma na ono so esu na ono so esu no se ye ne da achi misu me wuda o mu Jajagraja say emu ya onyame hu nyina mobo na ye find a lasting solution to these things so they be ya ento so Jajagraja say ohwe nsem wa asi wa chiri de ekoso ya osasia na ama odi ya odi areho say ono so na busua mu nso timi wa say oh Jajagraja kasa ma rekura ho ye ka afanya mbe wate Jajagraja say na enam se mentimi wase ene confrontations kakanya ade ya ewo honom ya onye hu se that chibi se nyame ampata na odoma nkoma to nsa frɛ ne papa pankono kuma se pankono se wa bet papa Jajagraja papa ene sinta bed nego yeah that's what we know enti Jajagraja se that chibi se nyame ampata na odoma nkoma to nsa e de frɛ ono Jajagraja de papa sinta bed nego a ebi ono so mentimi wase se ya ene be sori mentimi wase no how ne amanye se ya ne be sori a bia enkonkoboa fast movement ti no so kan won ono Jajagraja movement sabe ameka se de ono so kasa e dia fa asem wana se awosem wa esie no ho ya busu anya asem ketu akra enso so ewo eho no mti that is it ye de no so ntwemu eni mu amane bo esom amansan Jajagraja na kasa yo so obom paye pa se ono ohwe de ye koso na nyeze bia amanfo asem na da bi ono osu na niwa se da achi nyame ampata na ne papa ko ye nyame dia da achi bia e bia ono so arehosem se ya nyema esisi na dai ewo Apostle Kwadwo Safo wachi na bia bibesi wona busuam esa ansa ohwe the situation has suddenly reminded me of my own family situation and the disputes and confrontations simmering and waiting to ignite in the unfortunate event of my father's passing as that be odoma kuma koto nsa frɛ ne papa e bia na mentemu asesem sa ena ebeto so that is why inti a obon pa is say twede ampo nyankopon e ma ne masa no ma bibia enye boko no ma bibia enso nyasomji and we no to so say we indeed have prophets in Ghana and should lend an ear to them when they speak. Okay, no we no say Ghana you would di for nyame di for you nyame adwuma you would now say nti ya adi for ne kasa yenya so na yenti won adi for ne kasa yenti o mo asem wo mo aka na bibia nyasomji say obi amanfo bebre na di mo dan Jajagraja ehye san kom no one week no say nsensem na ade bebreba ena ampa abem to se bem ko amanfo bebre na ade ne bo man so Jajagraja we dey o kan ampa o kan na abem no so no nye ho na attention wo e be attention wo ene say ebetumi enya asomdwe e dey ama abusua no ena wo su no ho ye na ni wo su no ho se da chibi ono so woni ho a and that me no apani ho no mo a e bia na mentem wo asesa ena ebeba actually ya enya asem kitu akwa abusua. This is also update from sensing we yemu a edni na so menchemu ne emu amanye bo na enso esom said ya ese na efata enso so ewo ho. So that is the update about beto dia but madega catch us another update abani say update abani say sabi am no ka say dey Apostle Kwadwo Safo Akofena oni asafo mani bia ko hia ya chese oni omo etonyom na wodi asani ade a enti yenya abotre na yenhwe se dia ensem no ebesi akọ ewo eho no mo ya nti Jajagraja so abekasa ewo ho ya anya asem keto police for ombekasa the last time no omunya ema abuntin emekasa biem enso so ewo ho no ya awon emekasa biem but I know say no a ye refresh ye ho a the update on the buy so much nipa 6 na nipa 6 and police for achi omo na after so much nipa 6 no I feel omo uncover akode ne ade bebre omo chi nipa 6 ya omo na no me private bodyguards I'm say picture no has everything and run Ghana Police Service at the Babetu. Nipa 6 omo ni yes me say be kai everything so nipa 6 enra Ghana Police Service for chiono but we two na the side now as omo police for I don't know me nim je but omo just omo private bodyguards The nipa 6 we na police for chiwom. After say allegedly shoot one about Adwoa Safo. A police for corner which nipa 6. Na no dan chen ya enye nipa 6 nko a. Omo ensa ka akode ne ade awodo bebre. Yes. Akode ne ade awodo bebre na police for ensa ekan. Omo ye after so much nipa 6 na omo ye search. Omo ye search no and omo retrieve pump action guns nko 5. Abusuya a 2 pump action guns omo retrieve 5. Afenya no nko a omo retrieve 1 Taurus pistol. There's a pistol so omo retrieve Taurus pistol baako. Yeah, I also say I Taurus pistol no retrieve you know. Now it was 7 rounds of ammunition. It na say be a 2 sa akwa I mean abobani adi na account. Yeah, 7 rounds of 9mm ammunition and an account. The ammunition at 10 no 9mm and na account ho a enya sense. I know say 10mm makes 1 centimeter into 9mm and I say about 0.9 centimeters. That's a new 1 centimeter. Ha say be ketu akakra. I mean abobano. So the police fortress say and money be retrieve you know na your 5 pump action guns police for retrieve after 1 Taurus pistol yeah no so loaded with 7 rounds of 9mm ammunition and so police for answer kind after so much penifo ya and as you know move for ni twagwe after almost so SI retrieve additional magazine loaded with 5 rounds of 9mm ammunition and so police for answer kind and after communication equipment and no omo ensa eka ya enya asem ketu akra e wo honom ti eno so update post for the beto amansan mu a yina ye de esoma amansan enso so e wo e honom yeah okay nti omo church ensem mu say na your armed security personnel bi a omo wo Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena enfie honom tututu ye to na mu a sebi ebi ebe ka ono abo Adwoa Safo say de busuanfo ebe church mu ni ade busuanfo omo che say Nana Kwadwo Safo Akofena so tutu ni police for the one kan sa so after no ye nhwemu tie bi a chiri bi a omo me hu the prayer but the way your police force omo kan now these are some of the ammunitions omo ko retrieve e ha adwen on e wan from police abusuanwe nti after so omo che ye ni anu mi ene mo ni bi a police force kan anu bi ni hwe abusuanwe nti we na etuo ni ade aboba ni bi na police force kan no nti di enko a I don't know but e di enko a Adwoa Safo say this is purely the part 2 of that Lumba. Kofi use to sack, use it to fuck, and their corner family. Oh, okay. The Apostle were doing yeah. Anyway, they meet about me demo. Some is me doing new. Let's say, I say more. Yami be pa. And see, that is it. These are some of the near money we are Apostle for a retrieve. There's a Post what you say. One more at this, I depends how much you want to show on picture. And it's a good day almost a kind of they call police headquarters or cry. Yeah, almost quiet and shimu. And I can't also in himself a Medina police for a while, which I say on forensic examination. I will say 2 hour banana bobo. Now, my Tracy who says suspect you only a link to it and answer say another be able to wear back. We have got a second exhibit. Hey, I say, what was your quite dreaming. Second exhibit is when you was you 2 na bia ni na 2 outdo so ahwe we so nya asam ketewa ti we so me 2 ni bia Apostle for every retrieve ya enye asam ketewa so this is also another exhibit from the Ghana Police Service ebra wa mo etu sana moy enso so e wo hono mo a enye asam ketewa kra na afa yento aso another exhibit no back wa infa this is the 3rd exhibit ish ayasemo we dey there born nko a asemo me rekra ho abuzi ahwe akudi we na nti e dey nko a e dey ade a dey safo besie e dey nko abusuan e dey we see dey kwahin okay this is the 3rd one here 4th one of that but the 3rd one it so 4th one so ni hwe abusuan mo akodi Apostle for after say omo arrest ni passes no we are search no and near money be a exhibit ni be omo sakan bi na me chiro no etuo ni akodi awodo na Apostle for sakan ade ade nko a I mean ade nko a abusuan ayasemo omo moments are and case this year no we dey preach and you preach no or say Akofena is the Absalom of our time, the son of King David in the Bible. What was that? And I'm a preacher, I'm a software preacher. No, can I be just some couture. Moments, I know I'm saying, I'm a bomber, Ghana. No, but if you show some empire, I'm boy and come over and I may have one. Sebi, Yantias and Bonnie Bia, Sebio, SMC, and so Uncle Ba Rubiama. Because no moments, I'm a boy. A bomb in some and I'm a break and loose. The moments I'll say, Akofena, who is the Absalom of our time in the Bible, yeah, the son of King David. Okay, Matia moments are NKZ this year. Matia, Nampacho, where the moments are who comment at Chepa. What you may see, I mean, Nana Kwadwo Amamiana, now we see an Wadaroma, we shall know what Chelama Pana Kwadwo of Amsterdam, one another, Ajimai Prempen, okay, Yanwachiano Amamipa. After you to us to be away, another Isabeth, I almost answer a kaye, ebi, and they say, hey, now dear, we see the coin, Ebusia. When you know, I could be a police for retrieving. A day. Oh, but they may cry at the step cry. A day. A dear damn coin, Abusian for. You see the coin. Young share the entwasso. I'm the back on so yeah, another exhibit in the. Hey, that's any almost say now more. Yeah, you pow. A 2 do. Matimo Mesa, Matimo, who are not Chalaman, Nana Kwadwo of Amsterdam, on an Ajimai Prempe. Yeah, what are ma? It is 2 nerbies in ye. A 2 nerby in ye. I ask him. Just a me whole Jimmy. And then, sir, I could be almost TV 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost we give exhibit in 8. And now they are called police headquarters. To 4 fronts with you. And at the end of the paper, I imagine some between and won't be at Tisana because it is a bit well self-defense which is legal here. But me is a so be redeem who's a baby sabbat me a seer. I could do well. I'm sure they are post for Becky. Afe, hey, Aboba itu Aboba pa. Itu Aboba ne go sana. Itu Aboba ne go sana. Me recall. Itu Aboba pa. And a good one sana just say, "Enya sem kitu akra." Just look at that. Itu Aboba hodo just say. Was ya me want some cramming can. Me want some cramming can. It's all about do. And na ego long just say nyame mo pa. Afi hwe wins way. Etu onzo nye tu aketua. Pump action down near the ade ene ye keke unya. To when you na ye exhibit Apostle for nsa esomo. So yeah, we na ye exhibit Apostle for nsa esomo. Okay. Indeed. And yet, what's your condemn this? Indeed, no man. Okay. I think say Obi Ekasa inti. Okay. Yenti Honorable Adwoa Safo PR no Okasa kaka inti. Yenti kaka.
Na exam say afan for be dey pa akon to court ni ya na ye ma ye display wa ye chebebre man ko form exactly
Adwoa Safo na ne kwa mathematical say yenti
to ko ho no so say you don't see to what ye after from the hour na honorable say obi tie na say could you person be had privately e woni feel it's a police commander amane because at the end cut tired that's to stop it phone call echo here and my police so responsible back say they are sending men to the grounds and we see and check and the myself send you some card what's the mission was coming down na you go together. You question what was going there. Let me find you, Mr. Minister. I'm going to say, Yamma, Obi Friday, Echo Friday, MI. That was the idea about it. Pepe. And it was like your head Friday. They pick you up there. We take it away, take it away. I don't know about the okay, two. Hey, Yamini no credibility. I can make any. And if you see the media, they also mean you are police station. We saw it in the two. So quickly, they rush to the police station. We do there's a friend who party we see over inside. They wouldn't win their much. You would see me. Why I hyped? If you're so sure the being I know the person knows in the hospital. 18 minutes and they could do what about 10 minutes. And the last board of the Kwadwo Safo. If you do.
Because I know, I suddenly see na me frɛ na okuta Adwoa number no. So I don't want to know the casa and sister way. No same way.
It's
about 5 minutes. If you could do cano and then you go hospital. If you have to be honorable, no friend is in each other about the same. Oh, when we considering middle considering of the baby show. Never do that one. I won't do anything to make sure where they call. If she was driving herself, what to tell you? On one side, not all driver. In a casual way, normal ladies' bra and a down shorts with calority. Now, all put if you could be a few who can't get headed towards the gate. Or they approach you, so when you can, woman you. And now, or your see someone can say fire. Now, fire no.
Anna, or say fire hen.
Yes.
Anna, or say a film on the fire hen.
I just see the Obika fire hen. Down, Kaka. If it is down, if you are not driving with down, on the head level, at least, a cremated rich wedding. 85 had the bullet in the core. Normally, who's a car here, because we're a big man now, what's that for city?
I
number of bullets the course are glass wall.
wow.
It's like 20 okay, visible and accountable to everybody. If you have to you tell the bullets to be bomb and front side of the you tell them later, although they came at the stage of your bullets to see but she was trying to go out from the area. And when the bullets will be at the car, the left ear side and the full left hand side or the other. The participant be shot and make a
Matthias Lepa, tear for so near 40.
yes. If you ask yourself, say, you need to alcohol with bad intentions.
Matthias lawyer be Casa say, well, yes, I saw no lawyer now, or buy no car no, or the Salam Crusana no Timo, or the Pim Gate, you know. But Languisa no so as you want me, and no say, the gate, you know, what they put me out, Nidia, Wabanibia, what the Pumana say, at the Belu, Wabanibiana.
Mammy, Medasi, and now make this answer well. The catcher will be this say, I was here my main giant school. My business, they still say, if you have more, the say, be a good school, a quick tree, a sheer beer, but because of 1 or 2 weeks, you know, they are going to force to lie or say things that are not true. Mind you, and they are more than world. As some share, if we don't have to report 48 hours, intelligence will bring the results out. And there's a media man, and don't be a media man, and don't be a media man. So, I don't have to want to go on. So go with the driver. I need to. Mind you, say, why you minister sit down or legs? Open the body so they can frame it there. Me, can't you come your police command there? Don't say you, man, and you're never inside the door. And you all catch the police. So I say, put the body on her. That big.
What can I say? Because say, and you say, be a say the bonus one call non quanko. So what you say? Say the bonus one call non quanko. Yours, Sunny, or quanko, if I remember, be an IBC account. But according to the AD, which is on quanko call, Yeah, no one driving a car. What are you interested?
It means they're not going too far. And you can't tell me any million road now. Look, the security guys, they are there in the name of a brother. In the name of a brother.